caption bot in here. And then I think we'll be ready to go. Recognize English. Boop.
Do you need to do the thing where you have like the exclamation mark in front of your name so you're up at the top of the list
Well, I'm going
towards
to
your...
be playing, so I actually need to do something
Right, okay, okay.
sillier. But I think
I was
we
like,
are live. I
I
do
feel like
think
the
the people
number
can
is
hear
off.
us.
They can. Hi.
Hello.
Yeah. Caption bot seems to be working, so be good to go.
Mm-hmm. Um. All right. Yeah, Skyler, the floor is yours.
Alrighty then. Give me one sec to pull up the blurb. Hello, welcome to the Roll Plus Bond 7th Anniversary Charity Tabletop RPG livestream. My name is Skyler. My pronouns are he, him. This year we're raising money for PCRF, for the Palestine Children's Relief Fund. Their mission is to bring medical and humanitarian aid to children throughout the Middle East, with special focus on the Levant, regardless of their nationality or religion. They are working towards a future where all children in the Middle East can easily access the care they need, no matter how specialized it may be. You can type exclamation point donate into the chat, or visit our Tiltify address. Do we have that available? I didn't have that.
I could try and spell it out from based on what's in the chat.
Is it? I missed the. Is it in one of the Discord stream?
Twitch chat. It was the donate thing popped up recently, so.
Oh, excellent.
Yeah.
We're
Frank's a
gonna
little
be
quiet.
playing.
Could we get the bump up the sound a bit?
Oh,
Yeah, I can up everyone's sound in just 1 second. Is everyone quiet or just you guys? Let's find out.
I might have been speaking a little softly.
Oh, that is much louder.
I'm a touch nervous.
It's okay, happens to the best of us. You should be good to keep talking at your previous volume, I believe.
Excelente. We're going to be playing Realis, a game by Austin Walker. Not fully finished yet, but there is a lovely ash can that's been out that you can pay a small amount of money for. Guess I can just read from the book on this. This universe prizes passivity, except after wisdom gained. Recognizes friendship's strength, but rewards solitary achievement. Shifts in scope and scale according to the needs of the story or the whims of its tellers. Demands honesty and consequences, but care at the table. It is an inverted Twilight mirage, psychedelic space and sword and sorcery. Humbling mystics at the castle observatory, meteors cleaved clean with broadswords, 1,000 moons in fatal orbit, with an unreachable world called Realis. In practice, it is a diceless tabletop role-playing game where we will be talking through a narrative story, and when conflict happens, we'll be sort of pitting the reality of our sentences against each other, and the person with the highest reality wins. Ties goes to the person doing the countering. I am just going to go down the Discord list that I see. I am joined by Ash.
Hello. Are we introducing characters yet, or just us as players?
Let's do characters too. I think that'll do. That'll do well.
All right. I am Ash. I use any pronouns, and I'm going to be playing Fault, who uses she/it pronouns. Fault is the head of a community aid organization, and also maybe has some weird vibes of people being like, "Is this following natural or forced?" Due to being the idle playbook. We can probably go over like sense and stuff later, but that's the high-level pitch.
For sure. I'm also joined by Jack.
Hi, everybody. I'm Jack. Do, do we play like social media on this? I don't think you can find me on Blue Sky if you want. Just look for my name. And then I'm gonna be playing Thicket. Thicket is the Theologicant playbook or class for Realis, and is a kind of like cleric going through a bit of a crisis of faith about the mortality of gods and the lack thereof. So yeah, excited to play Thicket today.
Excellent. I'm also joined by Jenna.
Hi, I'm Jenna. My pronouns are she, her. I will be playing Rita Tadita, a sort of like failed wandering knight who has pledged herself to our mission for this game of Realis. Yeah, I think that's it.
Excellent. And I'm also joined by Percy.
Did you say your playbook?
Oh, Rita is the Peregrine.
Excellent. I'm also joined by Percy.
Hi, I'm Percy, they, them, or Zem, pronouns, and I will be playing the Quintessent, and their name is Reset, and they're sort of a former, Unspoken that was summoned and then tried to be put into a body, and then that didn't work, so now they're kind of a weird, ghosty little thing.
Ooh.
I really like the Quintessent playbook. I don't want to spend too much time on mechanics, but I figure that for people who are unfamiliar with Realis, I should start by mentioning just going through whatever a player character begins with, and then maybe going into a little bit of detail with sentences.
Yeah,
So,
good.
every player character begins with 4 class sentences, which are they sort of describe aspects about you, and they are how you interact with conflict and the narrative. They usually follow a sort of similar structure of I always blank, or when such and such happens, I always blank in order to take action. The There are also similar sentences that every player character begins with that are bond sentences, which describe the state of a relationship between player characters. These, your class sentences, and a couple other things are sort of classified as means, which is just how the book describes how you interact with conflict in the narrative as a whole. Also, every character starts with a dream sentence, a specific, single-use, extremely powerful sentence that all player characters begin with, representing some deeply held goal or ideal. Is that something that people would like to go over and share?
Yeah, feels relevant to like knowing who the characters are and stuff.
I think so. I think we can go through bond sentences and class sentences as we play. I think
Do you want to bring
just
up the band sentence?
Oh yes, we can also do the band sentence.
Okay.
Does anyone want to introduce the band?
I can introduce the band since I'm in control of when the people see that. Our band is named The Many Such Cases. Um, we are a group of people dedicated to anyone can stop me if I'm saying something that's wrong. We are dedicated to changing Realis in a dramatic way where I think we are on a mission to change the world such that everything will be different at the end of it. The fundamental nature of Realis will change, right?
That's my hope.
Okay.
We looked
That's
at
what I'm hoping for.
the beautiful tableau that Austin_Walker set up for us and said, but what if no?
I think it was different, actually. Our band sentence is when we work together, we always expose the truth of Realis. Our foundation sentences are: our story doesn't glorify or zoom in on violence, although we recognize it may happen. Our story shows that individuals deserve to matter. Our story always recognizes individual achievement, but acknowledges the sonder of society. That's a vocabulary word. Um, and our story really wants you to donate to PCRF. Please, pretty please. Um, yeah. Do you think we're good
Awesome.
there? Okay.
We'll just go down the line. Ash, would you mind describing your character's dream?
Yes. Like I said, leader of a community aid organization, and my dream is to destroy all objects of worship. Normal dream.
Extremely normal and good.
Truly the most
Uh,
normal.
Jack, would you mind telling us your dream? Or your
Yeah,
character's dream, that is?
different, very different dreams. My character's Thicket's dream is I will find the truth behind the life and death of the divine and bring its comfort to the people. So very funny in context with faults, in my opinion.
Many such cases.
Many
Many
such
cases.
cases.
Jenna, would you mind describing Rita's dream?
My dream is to protect the world of that which rots it from the inside out. Um, Also extremely normal.
Totally normal. Percy, would you mind describing Reset's dream?
Yes, Reset's dream is I will carve a new future out of the parts I have been bound to.
Oof, good stuff. All right, so I think that's enough of an introduction to the game itself. I think I should probably go ahead and introduce the sort of state of affairs, as it were, the campaign we'll be playing in today. Um, there was a point in time in which a collection of powerful individuals, um, some of them known as Radiants, folks that have made it to the center of the galaxy, the beautiful Realis itself, and returned. Through a collection of heretical technology, magic, and ritual, they speculated that peak happiness throughout the system would reach its highest point at 72%. And when that magic number was reached, they set Realis on cycle. It's not exactly Groundhog Day, but moon sentences can't change. People are stuck in the same fates. The same types of people and the same types of problems are getting recycled over and over again, which is great for folks that, moons that are experiencing a golden age, moons that are experiencing peace and prosperity like they've never seen before. But it also means that 28% of people are stuck suffering forever through this cycle. And we have some characters that have ideas about that and would prefer that to change. And we're picking up in media res. The way I sort of saw this intro is alt. I think your group has acquired an orphan vessel, one of the few spacecraft able to traverse the moons, and your group has the clasp has put together enough resources to ferry you to the sort of headquarters of these folks in charge. The horizon of events. And when, the camera first opens up on the band leaving the ship, and do you have any like clasp member names like ready to go?
Not ready to go, but you did give me like 20 seconds of lead up that it might be an NPC. So this is this is Thackeray Wild. It was kind of like shorter, kind of like big old grizzled beard, kind of like slightly bleary eyed. Was kind of like waving us off of the ship, and I I don't know if this is exact what's happening, but Fault is saying I hope you can make it back to pick up your children in time from their. It'd be like a summer camp kind of thing. I know this was a bit of a longer journey than you're used to.
Yeah, they give a big hearty chuckle, a slap on the back, and say, "Well, I I wish your group the best of luck. I wish I could stay, but know that you've got support from the clasp from afar. Unless you have any NPCs in mind that you'd like to bring with you. One of your sentences as the idol is I always direct the followers of my organization to my ends. And I don't want to put you in a situation where you are left without followers. Do you have some NPCs in mind that are accompanying you?"
Hmm. So we are here at what do you say, the Horizon of Events,
Yes, that is what the moon has been named.
Mhm. Which is known to be the headquarters of this group that's kind of been keeping things like in static formation. Uh, I
I've
don't
been calling
think that
it
I,
cycle.
yeah. Mhm. I don't think that I brought people with me specifically to like help out or be part of this mission. Uh, Either they were busy or too dangerous or had other stuff going on, whatever. I think I am hopeful that there will be some people who, even if they aren't already members, could be convinced to join and like participate in our goals and that kind of thing, even here on this moon where everything is happening. But I don't think I have any that are like ready and like coming with me.
Excellent. I just wanted to make sure I didn't cut off your
Mhm.
currently most uh, real sentence.
Yeah, don't worry. I'll make sure to make that choice to do it for you.
I will just go ahead and start off with our first conflict. You arrive at the entrance to the Horizon of Events, and it's going to attempt to use a moon sentence, or a sentence against you. In Realis, we sort of have a conversation about the narrative until a point in time in which uh, conflict arises. When that happens, the current actor will pick a means and describe their dramatic intent. Uh, as the initial actor here, my what's is there a shoot? What's the shortcut for text wraparound in
Oh.
Sheets?
There's like a button, 3/4 of the way through the bar that shows like a little like arrow like looping back in on self.
Yeah. It's next to the arrow that's pointing
Hey,
at the ground.
gotcha. Thank you. Uh, the horizon of events always resists change. The moon feels something out of cycle approaching it, and its doors remain shut. Its entrance. I imagine this to be like sort of like a palace hanging in space, lit by the harsh light that Realis itself is sort of like casting on it. We would sort of consider this as close to Realis as, normal folks or even, just most folks in general could possibly get. Um, and it is a huge, blue marble and gold structure. And there are these, you know, giant 10, 20-foot tall, imposing marble doors that are remaining closed, with the dramatic intent that the Horizon Events wants to get you to leave.
I'd like to use my
It wants to
dream.
convince you that there's no way in.
Kidding. Just
Uh,
activate dream at the first sign of conflict.
hey, you got one in the chamber.
We
You
each get
don't know its
one.
reality yet, but is there anyone who can counter? The Horizon of Events always resists change.
And the literal thing that's happening is that we need to go into a build. What is this building that has the big doors that are shut again?
It's the Horizon of Events, a grand and opulent palace-like structure that sits at the closest point of Realis itself.
Is this just like floating in space?
Yeah, I have always thought of Realis following Treasure Planet rules, where space is just like outside. You can still breathe out in space, but if you like get thrown off your ship or slip and fall, you'll just fall into the abyss.
Okay. And the doors here are barred, or like are not opening for us, huh?
Yeah, I think there's like there's sort of like a courtyard that has a landing space for vessels. It's where your orphan vessel landed. There's maybe even like some greenery that's been cultivated, uh, or a small fountain, just some decorations out front, some small steps, and then giant imposing doors that seem to be refusing any chance at opening them.
Mm.
And you are here to sort of, as I understand, make a case or change the folks that have imposed their will on Realis. And to do that, uh, you know that they reside in this structure.
Man, if only we had someone who could ignore doors.
Like some sort of ghost or something. That would
Yeah,
be
that
good
might
Yeah.
to
do it. That
know.
might do it.
Yeah,
Maybe,
yeah.
maybe if one of us was already dead, or we could like kill one of us and they become a ghost and then just pass through.
Oh,
I think we're really onto something here.
I think
Yeah.
we're really onto
Yeah.
something.
Um yeah, how do we feel about countering with I am always intangible to just get through these doors? Although that doesn't help me get y'all through these doors, I guess.
Unless
Yeah,
it's like a
just
button on the other side.
hmm
Once it's countered, then it's no longer affecting, right?
That's correct. When a sentence
Yeah.
becomes countered, we strike a line through it and we treat it as if it is written in the negative.
Another way to go about it too could be using I always wield a spectral or elemental power. I feel like making something else intangible could really be a spectral power.
Mhm.
Mm.
True. Um yeah, I guess what hmm. I feel like keeping that one in the can to do something more different from my other sentences uh is would be more interesting potentially. So I think countering with I am always intangible to me makes the most sense. But
Go for it.
okay.
So you've declared that you're countering. You're using I am always intangible.
Yes.
Now, every character starts with their token charged. You can use your token to bump your reality up one level. Do you
Yeah.
want to use your token now? With the
Uh,
caveat that defenders win ties. So if you're countering, you will succeed
mhm.
if this is a level 0 or a reality 0 sentence.
Yeah. Um
Uh,
and then how
Checking
do I
from a gameplay
recharge my
perspective.
token again?
You can do one of two things. You can follow an impulse, either your playbooks or the moon impulses, or you can perform a tragic success, which is invoking a sentence seeming like a success, but while also getting the band further into chaos and trouble.
Gotcha. Okay, yeah, fuck it, I'll spend the token just to be safe now.
All
I
right.
do want to ask, with moon
Oh,
sentences and how they're being written, do those also reflect the more complicated they are, the higher the reality is? So like this one, the horizon of events always resists change, feels like a like a zero sentence, zero reality sentence. I don't know if you could have that be like a level 2 sentence or something like that, and have be phrased the same way.
The book doesn't make any sort of specifications, but I, as the person running this game, have always tried to follow the same rules that players have to follow when making sentences, which I think is
Okay.
only fair. There are rare opportunities where you don't have to follow those requirements, one of them being ephemera. Ephemera don't have to have any qualifications to have increased power. But the way I see it is I even if it's something I've imposed on myself, I have always tried to follow the same steps to realize sentences for my NPCs and my moons.
So we can get some clues for like what the level the sentence
Yeah,
might be.
you're
Spending
Yes.
right.
tokens
You're
still
right. I didn't think
will
about that.
probably be safer, but wanted to at least confirm if we knew one way or the other if that might be a factor.
Yeah. Yeah, I see what you're saying now where this is definitely pretty broad. Um but I'll just still spend the token because then that forces me to do shit that's more interesting later.
Better safe than sorry. Go ahead and mark that your token has been spent. And I'll reveal this to be a Reality Zero sentence. I'll mark it as struck through, and I'll check one of the boxes. Once this is full, for both characters, NPCs, and moons, they can be realized, you can uncross them, and you can increase their reality by 1. But you also have to add some sort of restriction or caveat to the sentence to make it more specific. Hopefully we'll be able to see that later in play. Uh, but for now, your intangible powers work here. Describe what it looks like or what you do to make it so that the horizon of events never resists change.
Um so okay, so I'm literally like flipping this to the inverse is how this works.
Yeah, what's happening here is that the horizon of events resisting change, that has been sort of manifested as these big imposing doors, but
Mhm.
that's also a facet that is true of this moon. It would be doing other things to resist you changing it.
Mhm.
Now, at least until this scene is over, it can't.
Yeah. I think I think maybe this starts as just like reset, like literally just sort of like phasing through these doors, and that is like sort of a metaphorical opening of the doors as um they like pass through. Maybe they're I've described them as sort of being like not like standard like ghost, you're just like pale and gray, but kind of like this like iridescent like oil slick sort of vibe to them. And maybe we watch that sort of like spread across the doors a little bit as they like crack open kind of
Ooh.
so that the rest of us can make it through.
I really
And
like that
maybe
image as like
yeah,
these like marble gates. You're like oil slick as you pass through them, just sort of like slowly spreads, like you've blashed some of the paint onto like a perfect white canvas, and it just continues to spread.
yeah. And I think while like I'm still intangible, maybe this like oil slick across them as they spread makes it so that then yeah, these are just normal doors. Well, not normal, but like now people can just interact with this sort of thing. It's reverse that. They can be moved. It can be changed.
Excellent. Well, you guys have found your way inside, uh, and I guess I should sort of describe this place. Um, inside it is just as opulent as you would expect it to be. Lots of like beautiful staircases going to upper levels, and hallways with sort of like avant-garde art. This is a place that wants to seem respectable, wants to seem powerful, and wants to seem opulent. And tending to this place are folks that seem to be frozen, and they are moving like little stop motion animation clay figurines. It's a little hard on the eyes, but once you get adjusted, you can see that they're like polishing some of the walls or cleaning up maybe something that spilled. Uh, I think one of them goes to like clean up the oil slick and then notices you all, and then all of their heads snap to you guys entering the facility, and there is just a long, awkward pause. No sentence being used against you, but there's a sort of awkward air in the room.
Uh, this isn't. I'm not trying to like. I guess I am trying to make a narrative shift. So I don't know if this might get countered. I want to use my "I always garner affection" sentence um, to just like step forward and say, "Greetings. We are a representatives from the rest of the wider universe of Realis, here to make a petition for an alteration of the current state of affairs. If you could you please point us towards whoever is making decisions? We can ask them to make different ones."
Another pause, and then they turn to look at themselves. They sort of group up in the center and begin to whisper. And one of them stands in front of you. Um, Again, this is like a person that has been encased in a thin sheet of ice, and they are moving sort of disjointedly. But they seem to be able to still speak. Uh, and uh, oh, I forgot to ask. When you are using your means, what's your dramatic intent here?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking of. Like, what do I want to change narratively? I would like these guys to be not actively hostile, they seem to kind of be already, and then to be helpful in guiding us to where we need to go. To
Um,
recognize that our reason for being here is valid, and if not, supporting it, not like standing in our way.
yeah. I won't ask you to use your token here, because this sentence isn't being countered. I don't have anything here, at least in this current scene, um, that isn't already a countered sentence that would be resisting this. Um, so I think there's some more murmuring, and then the one that came out ahead nods to you and says, "Oh, yeah, yes, of course." Um, and one thing I would like to add, um, Rita,
Yes.
I think you might recognize, maybe not some of them, but there's one person here that you recognize,
Oh.
um, that leads you to a conclusion. These folks are Leo suzerainty, or at least they were at some point.
Hmm. Are these like noble peoples and other such like the Leosus Renti is full of like weird nobility, or are these just like other rank and file soldier types?
I I'm gonna say it's a grab bag.
Hmm.
I think the person you recognize is maybe nobility, but you also see attire here that would indicate like attendants or sort of lower ranking folks of faith. But you recognize someone of nobility here.
Okay.
Just a detail I wanted to add to the scene.
Do they don't recognize me though, right? They're not like staring daggers at me. They're not like mad at me.
Not yet.
Okay, cool.
They haven't really noticed you. I would say all eyes are currently on Fault.
Score. Awesome. No one's mad at me yet.
Um, And the one that
Many
came out in
such
front
cases.
says,
Any such cases.
yes, of course. Well, you'll the the cycle leadership has 4 pillars that you'll need to most likely speak with. Um, there's there is uh, uh, Titeline, which I believe one of your retinue is familiar with. Clatter is here. You'll most likely need to speak with them on the matters of reincarnation and such. Um, you'll also need the approval of our information specialist, Venture Vice, and then inevitably you'll need to speak with them. And they turn to look at their retinue. There's like a long gulp, and they turn back. And you'll inevitably need to speak with the head, Mr. Impending, Agnum.
Excuse me for a moment. Did you say Clatter?
Yes. When our order was first formed, and in the cycles that continue, Clatter has provided much aid to us. I'm sure he would love to hear what you all have to say.
I think you all just see like Thicket just like goes kind of rigid. And just like nods lightly. You all would also know that Clatter was Thicket's like original god of worship. Which I'm sure has been talked about at some point. Wears some Clatter iconography, does still worship Clatter, but also just like has like a larger kind of like retinue of gods that are worshipped and practiced and all that kind of stuff. Hand goes to a skull at his waist, which he then kind of like thumbs and like you can see there's like a small hole being worn in the side of it from just like this nervous tick, but just nods, doesn't say anything.
I think my bond with Thicket might be relevant here. Could I read it?
Absolutely.
Yeah, so Falt's bond with Thicket is I will prove to Thicket that the gods can and should die. So upon hearing that the deity Clatter, which I know that Thicket used to worship or still does in some form, is here and possibly working against us, not saying anything, just gonna turn and give a little bit of an eye towards Thicket, just like, what do you think of that? And we'll just be keeping an eye on that as we progress and eventually go and speak with them.
Quick aside question: How? I don't think Thicket's ever met a god. Right?
Yeah,
Like this is not a thing that really happens.
No, when we spoke about this stuff in character and world creation, you mentioned you being a cleric, and we also talked about, um, potentially that there have been deities that are the products of empire,
Yeah.
but those are still, as Fault puts it, objects of worship.
Yeah.
Being able to speak with one is a really rare opportunity. But I also see this as a potential like culmination to a campaign that's already been long-standing that we're just picking up in the middle of. So I felt like it would be a good opportunity to give the Thicket a chance to speak with, well, someone so important.
It is certainly an interesting one, and we'll see how it goes.
And, at the risk of being a little corny, these are all names you folks recognize. Rita, your former Lord Titeline is apparently here.
I was thinking about that. I wanted to wait until we got out of the clatter zone, but I think there's a grit of the teeth at that, you know?
For sure.
Also, I just realized I don't think we talked about our characters' looks at all.
That's such a good point. Oh, that's too bad. That's a really good opportunity. Should we go over that now?
Sure.
Yeah, in this moment where Rita's gritting her teeth, go ahead and give the description of her look.
Yeah, so Rita is a dark skinned woman with very long braids that are tied into like two big buns kind of on the back of her head. She has like very worn Leo Suzerainty armor, lots of like blues and yellows, like blues and yellows on the. I'm imagining like a metal armor, right? And then blues and yellows on like the what do you call like the cloth stuff on armor? I want to say pageantry, but I think that's for horses. Um,
I have no idea.
I don't know. Anyway, so she's got all that big shield on her back, and a broken sword at her hip. Um, mhm. um, yeah, that's Rita. That's what she looks like. Very very sharp features, but like big smile. You know.
Hmm. And then we should also get a description of the hand that is wearing a hole into the skull at your side thicket.
Not
Yeah,
the rest of
totally.
just the hand.
I actually have a picture that was drawn for me that I'm gonna just put in our chat.
No
Um,
way.
because I couldn't find a good space to put it into the sheet. Um, but if someone who's better with Google Sheets wants to try and pop it in there, you're welcome
Oh
to.
man, that's rad.
But
I
yeah,
can
I
make a spot
think
for it on the main screen.
thank you. But thicket um thicket is like I think a little bit on the like average side in terms of a lot of capacities. Um, so like average build, average height, but has like a pretty striking dress. They wear this cloak that's like brown and green that like is kind of looks like if you just like pulled a sheet of moss off the ground and turned it into a cloak. They have a big bag on their back, and then underneath that cloak, kind of hidden, are all these bones that hang and can kind of clatter against each other and make a little bit of noise as Thicket moves through a room. And then just has like a lot of different bones from the long dead. Again, Clatter's the god of the long dead, and so basically just uh, uses these bones for rituals, but also has all these other pouches and things on their person that are filled with different little materials for all these different faiths that they help people practice.
That is sick. Fault, why don't we get a description of your character as as Clasp's biggest competitor, or perhaps even just like general bully has been mentioned. Venture Vice is the CEO of Vice News, who has been covering your journey to Horizon's End and talking shade and just being a general nuisance, spreading misinformation. Um, you know, I, if you know, in earlier seasons of this show, you would have had to deal with annoying reporters, or when you were showing up to other moons, you'd have to deal with the fallout of Vice News having like basically almost ruining your entire group's reputation.
Mhm. Yeah. So Fault is looks to be kind of like a more senior, maybe like 50s, 60s woman with like white hair pulled into a tight bun, suit that is like perfectly tailored, it's like navy with veins of gold running throughout it, and glasses which she pretty regularly will like take off, polish, and like replace with a different pair, either in terms of like shade or size or like whether it's sunglasses or normal, etc. Seems to have a bunch of different pairs that just kind of swaps between, and then also has a weird floating like rune just kind of like hovering and slowly rotating behind her head. Uh, And I think that on hearing that Venture Vice is here and is like participating in running things, is just going to give this like slow little smile and just go, ah, this is nice and efficient.
And then,
Quick question,
go ahead.
now that Fault has finished being describing. Was the Vice thing intentional? Um,
Intentional for what?
uh, just like with Vice
Vice, the
Gaming
news
stuff
company
and
that,
like Vice the
yeah.
news company, where
Oh no!
Austin used to be.
What have I done?
Austin_Walker, if you are listening, this is a message directly to you.
What? No, no, no. Hold on. Hold on. Uh, is this something we need to change about my notes? We can call this Venture News or something else.
It's
Hot
really
No, I don't think
funny,
takes.
so.
I
I just
think.
think it's very funny.
I think
All
keep
right.
it. I think keep it.
Unfortunately, I don't have enough Austin Walker lore to know what I've done.
Vice News does have a Wikipedia page,
Oh,
so it's at
that's
least
of
that
course that's a
valid.
thing that's already existed. All
So
right.
did you really not know?
Nope. I was trying to come up with
It's a good
a
name.
name for like
It's a great name.
a slimy little news sleazeball. I liked the V alliteration, and I was like, ah, Venture Vice. And then obviously he names the company after himself.
That's hilarious.
That's great. Okay, sorry. We can continue. I just did need to know if that was intentional. Um,
Nope. I'll be thinking about that for the rest of time. Um, but yeah, reset. Um, you that oil slick is uh slowly continuing to spread. Everywhere that you walk and interact with in here is leaving very, very small traces of yourself. You're not
interesting.
losing any part of yourself, but you are having an effect on this place. And what's it look like when you observe that? Describing your look.
Yeah. So I described earlier kind of like this oil slick vibe, rather than like your standard ghostly like grayed out or whatever. It is still a little bit like transparent, translucent. Like it's oil slick, but not like like if you took oil slick and turned the opacity to like 80%, I get kind of deal. Um, but other than that, they kind of look approximately like the body that they used to be slash were forced into, etc. Um, and it's sort of like a very masculine sort of look, and they've got sort of like a military style jacket kind of vibes, but they're all sort of this oil slick color. It's not like you can't tell hints of what the colors were before. And then unless they're really like thinking hard about it, they don't really have legs. It kind of just like gradually fades out as their body approaches the ground, but they can have legs if they're like paying attention to it, I guess, is the best way to phrase that. Um, but yeah.
I really like the Quintessent playbook. Um, and the look is fantastic. Well, you guys sort of have an impetus of where you want to go. Um, what's the plan? Does anyone
So
have any like strong feelings?
we got information on how we are related to or aware of Titleine, Clatter, and Venture Vice. Do we have the connection to Mr. Impending Magnum?
Yes, Agnum Impending, or they were referred to as Mr. Impending. Um, I think I think there's no way any of you don't know about this individual. Um, he is, I would consider to be the reason as to why you're here. Um, he's the one you guys are eventually going to need to make your final case to, and as he was the one who formed this group and sort of the main operator in setting Realis on cycle. And you know of him sort of like you would know anyone in a position of power, but not personally. I don't think any of you have. I don't think he's ever been on camera, so to speak.
Mhm.
But you know his name.
With that information, Fault's vote is to go directly to Mr. Impending first. See if we can persuade the person at the top.
I think Rita thinks that's a bad idea. I think Rita thinks, well, I just don't you think it would be maybe like a little bit better if we had more support? Cuz like I don't want to get either metaphysically or quite literally flattened by Mr. Impending. Personally.
It seems to me that if this person is going to create and run this organization, they probably, if we could convince them on our side first, the rest would follow. If we convince the rest, I have no indication that they would change their mind at that point. If we believe it could be wiser to start with some of the other, not lackeys, but side pieces, and then work our way up to the top, that is also meant we're going to need to talk to all of them at some point or another.
Saying that this is Mr. This is out of character. Saying this is Mr. Impending and his side pieces does have a certain connotation.
Yeah.
You're so right.
I was
I
was also thinking about Magnum Impending being a new line of condom.
I did. Magnum Impending and also his side pieces is. We're getting into.
That was not my intention, but I'm glad we're here.
Yeah.
We can all just
This
have
balance
as
has
a-
multiple levels,
These are great
and
names.
from higher up, you hear someone shout, "Side pieces," and then walking quickly down the stairs, and someone from over a railing looks at you with utter contempt and goes, "Ugh, you goons are here," and then jumps down, lands with a dramatic thud, and sort of dusts off their uh, like blue and gold attire. Is a fellow with too much gel in his hair, beautiful embroidered suit, and he sort of is being surrounded by little cameras. This is Adventure Vice. Having been insulted, he stands before you and says, "Yeah, you guys are gonna need all the help you can get." And the nerve! Side pieces? Do you have any idea how much control I have over this place? And he sort of like flexes, and the little cameras are like flashing and covering what's happening.
I have an idea of how important you think you are, but I'm afraid you could be replaced very easily if Mr. Impending decided that you were no longer a good fit.
Grinding teeth? Let's see. Let's go
But
ahead and
if you
use
have decided to show yourself already, we can begin with you and then work our way up.
Let's go ahead and use another sentence. I think it's about time. We'll modify one of these little things. Adventure. Nice. Boop, and
Something that I've discovered through the joy of role-playing games is that while I don't do this in real life, it can be very fun to just be real snarky and mean to people in a game.
It's very fun. Skyler, I don't want to burst your bubble. I can see you on the spreadsheet, though I cannot make
no.
the camera go look at that.
Shoot. I have an idea.
Put it in this. Put it in this zone. I can make the camera look at
Yeah.
this.
Boop, boop. Boop. I guess one can just. That's not what I wanted. Can we do? Yeah, that's how we do it. Nope. Let's spell words properly.
It is very difficult. I think we all sympathize.
Do text wrap. Boom. I always wear prestigious attire to intimidate others. With the dramatic intent that he wants to make you guys feel small and insignificant. And, you know, he sort of like flexes again. The light of Realis catches some of his like attire, his like weird blue and gold tuxedo, and it like he sort of like flexes in a way that intentionally reflects it into your eyes, as to like try and like catch you off guard or blind you, and says, "Oh, you guys are lucky I'm even here."
It
Does
does
anyone
save us
have
some
any?
time having to hunt you down later.
For sure. Does anyone have anything that can counter "I always wear prestigious attire to intimidate others"?
I have a really funny pitch.
I'm here for it.
So, Thicket, you have the sentence, "I always hear the whisper of the countless demons when I listen to bones."
Yeah.
I forgot. I forgot how insane that one was. Okay, cool.
Uh-huh.
Just do not care at all about this guy, because, like, no. It's, whatever you have going on, I'm wearing the ghosts of, like, demons. I'm sorry, I was supposed to be
I
impressed
have
by your voiceless decoration.
I do think that it's kind of similar. It's a little different. I think that I have just gotten so wound up over, hey, the deity that I worshipped as a child is either real or someone is pretending to be them, and like there's a lot of different aspects to it. And so I think I am consulting my oldest oracles, which are the bones of the long dead. So I think this guy comes down here and then he just sees me like putting a skull like right up to my head and just looking in its empty eye sockets and just like kneeling on the ground and not paying any attention to him.
Well, damn.
Would you like to use your token?
Um
What means are you using again?
I always hear the whispers of the countless demons when I listen to bones, which is my reality sentence. I think
Go on.
I think that it is interesting here if I fail, and I'm just as happy with either outcome. So I'm not going to use my token. I'm just going to leave it at the one reality sentence.
And again, your intention here is to make him seem like, or is to reveal that he is not the center of attention.
It's less even that he's not the center of attention and more that like there is no one center of attention. Like you can try and you can pull in some people, you might be successful. I'm not even thinking of you as a possible center of attention right now. So almost to like indirectly like kind of break up his game a little bit.
Awesome. I will reveal a reality 1 sentence, and I'll put a strike through.
Okay.
Yippee!
As counters or as a defenders always win ties. So
There we go.
you're countering with the reality 1, which means his reality 1 sentence becomes countered. I'll mark check a box next to it, and I'll describe a little bit what this looks like, and then I'll let you sort of have the spotlight. After he says his, witty comeback, like, "Oh, you guys are lucky I'm even here." One of his cameras just begins to like try to capture your little ritual thicket, and it just like the lens on it cracks and it falls to the ground, uh, like your ritual or whatever it is you're doing seeming to interfere with his technology. And he goes, "Well, that's it." But he's interrupted by some of um, the attendants of the horizon of events pushing past him to look at what you're doing.
I think
Some
that
of them like rush over to like begin to look at your practice, sort of like pushing past him and just totally, throwing off his groove, as it were.
I think that the practice, um, it's largely thicket listening, and I think that thicket hears in this instance. Um, I don't think it's ever like super direct. I don't think it's often words, right? Um, but this time the whispers come from the footsteps and the migration of people around him, um, as he like as he's doing like this very active listening to the environment, to this object in front of him, um, and is just like so ensconced in his faith that I think Vice just like feels like, that thing when you go like too big, where you're like, oh, I actually thought that I was able to like handle the amount of bravado that I am popping out into the room right now, but actually, oh shit, I everyone here just thinks I'm kind of a fool. Like I went too big with it. I went too grandiose. Um, and in contrast, this deeply earnest thing makes me look like such an asshole. And that moment you realize that you kind of look like an asshole. Um, and I think that that Vice is just feeling that very discreetly and very internally.
Yeah, we get him sweating. Takes like a long gulp, stammering to try and form a comeback or something to say. We get his view of the room as he looks to see you doing a little ritual. There's a ghost in the room. There's an oil slick, like some sort of like weird oil slick spreading across the palace slowly. The the frozen attendants are acting up and aren't doing their job. His technology's going haywire. It's off to a bad start. He's just sort of like grumbling furiously at himself. Um, does what you hear guide you in any direction, Thicket?
I think that it's I think that what it feels like is, oh, whatever we are about to do, there are a lot of people deeply interested. This is not just a like solitary endeavor. We are not the only ones that would like change. We're in fact backed by a lot of people who see the state of the world and recognize that it could be better. And I think that's what like the whispers of footsteps and shuffling and of coming closer of interest. I think that's what that tells him.
Interesting. All right, well, I'll throw it back to you. You've got an annoying new CEO in the room, and you've got folks to talk to. What do you do?
I have a question.
What you got?
As you said that one of these ice covered folks was like trying to, or at least one of them was like trying to clean up the oil slick or whatever. Does it like crawl its way onto the rag and then eventually crawl its way onto them, or is this like a only affecting the um like things that are physical parts of the moon rather than people who are on the moon kind of thing?
Hmm. Do you have a means you would like to, or do you have a sentence you would like to invoke here?
Um, I don't think I have a sentence I'm trying to evoke. I think this was like a clarifying question to see what
Yeah.
was
I see.
up with these
Is this
people, I guess.
flavor or narrative intent, I guess?
Yeah, this is just flavor, I think, for insight into potential, like what this looks like, I guess, for moving forward. I
There
don't
was
know.
a small attempt made to try and clean up the oil slick, but it wasn't doing anything. It was
Okay,
almost like it had permeated what you had touched, rather than being something that had like spilled on top of it. So when
gotcha.
the attendant took a rag to it and tried to like rub at it furiously, it was just like nothing happened. Uh, and then the thing that Thicket did sort of like caught everyone's attention, so they sort of just like dropped the rag there and left to go see what was happening.
Cool. And then like you said a thin coat of ice, so it's kind of like a aura sort of thing, but it's ice rather than they're like in blocks of ice, correct?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I don't see them being like full ice cubes, but it's clear that whatever the person that they used to be or the person that they are right now has been frozen over.
I
Hmm.
kind of want to learn, get some insight onto like what these folks who are just working here are experiencing, or like what's going on in their heads, and kind of ignore uh what's his face, Vice, Vice, uh Venture Vice, um because I feel like um that'll like give us better insight into like the operations of this place besides like the cameras. And also like check that these people don't need like letting out. Probably they probably do. Um
Hmm. What's that look
but
like?
um you said all their attention was sort of drawn to fake it when this happened is kind of where they're at right now.
Yeah, Thicket's whisper ritual has really seemed to catch the attention of the frozen attendants that are here.
Um I think maybe Reset is like just trying to like sidle up to one of these attendants, as it were, as however much sidling you can do as a ghost. um but like that kind of vibe, and maybe like trying to ask something about like how they feel about this venture dude, or like, oh hey, this is interesting, are you like do you know about this kind of stuff with the like ritual, like that kind of vibe, I guess, like kind of just like the like small talk angle, I don't know, to maybe get something more. I don't know that
Uh,
that's small talk, but
yeah. Let's let's try and go bigger. Describe your dramatic intent to me, and then maybe we can work out a means from there.
I think um my intent here is to like understand what why these people are here, and like who they are, and like who's put them here kind of thing.
And which sentence are you using for that?
um I mean, I feel like this would be, I always force others to confront the truth of their emotions.
Interesting. So this is
Because I feel
you.
like if there's something being repressed there, that might help it not be.
All right. I will let you know there is a sentence I will be attempting to use to counter you. I will give you
Okay.
the sentence before I let you decide whether or not you want to use your token.
I
I
have
feel like
already
that's
spent my
fair.
token. I
Oh, that's
can't.
right. Oh,
I don't have a token back
fantastic.
yet,
Oh no.
unless
Um,
I forget what else I need to do that. But
so, uh, is it on? Recharging your token. You invoke a tragic success. You can realize a bond, which will recharge both players' tokens, or you can act on an impulse, either your spheres or the current moon's impulse, to recharge your token.
okay,
You
we're definitely
can
not at the point of
also,
realizing a bond,
uh,
so it would be the tragic success or the impulse that would do that later. Okay.
yes, you can also hone a sentence. Once per session, you can hone a sentence, giving it +1 for the rest of the session. When you do, give it a temporary condition as if it's been realized, increase its rank by 1, and then mark the sentence as if it had just been countered. And then you make a note, either write it in parentheses or brackets that you know that it is temporary. And then you can remove the condition and rank at the end of the session. And you can do
Okay.
that before sentences are compared, but not after you realize the result of the conflict.
Okay. So.
So like
So
when
it's a
the
temporary
others. Oh, go on.
condition. So basically, I'm pretending that I have um realized this sentence for the rest of the session. So a
Yeah,
level 1 sentence or a level 2 sentence, I guess,
it
is what
would
this one
become a
would
level
be.
2 sentence, but you would also need to add some sort of condition or restriction, just like you realize a
Yes.
sentence that is temporary for the session.
Okay.
It's also
Um.
automatically countered at the end of the scene, so you couldn't use it in the next one if you wanted to.
Okay.
Hold on, really quickly while we are thinking about a roll. I believe we've just passed $1,000.
Whoa.
It was a while ago, but
Oh no! I just noticed. Oh no! I'm a clown.
It's all good. I believe the proper term is Zanny.
Oh no! I'm a Zanny.
that's worse.
But yes, thank you to everyone who's donated. We had an $100
That's incredible.
anonymous donation. So excited for the stream this year. And a lovely $25 donation from my boyfriend Mac. Thank you. And a $23 donation. I don't know. 23 is such a funny number to me. There. I don't know why you would go about donating $23, but it's great. Anyway, continue.
If you're watching, explain. You don't have to, but I am curious also. Um. Anyways, yeah. If I were to hone it, would something like I always force others to confront the truth of their emotions while under duress be enough of a restriction there?
Yeah, I would say so.
Okay.
That would also require you to be putting this person or these folks under duress, which sort of colors the scene a little differently.
Are they okay? So they're not already under duress by being encased in ice.
No, this has become their status quo.
Okay.
This has become their existence. Which, you get a little bit. The Horizon's frozen suzerainty always stays vigilant for change. Is the sentence attempting to counter you?
Sorry, can you repeat that? I lost the back half of it.
That's all right. The Horizon's frozen suzerainty always stays vigilant for change.
And then the ties go to whoever's attacking?
Countering.
Whoever's countering. Okay.
Yes.
I see. Ooh, what's another way I could hone this? I need a second to think of, that maybe if someone else is actively doing something while I'm doing this, pivot away for a second, but I am trying to think as fast as I can.
Sure. Uh, Jenna, you haven't had a chance to, um, well, use a sentence or do much. Is there an impulse or is there something you'd like to do in this scene?
Hold on. I just gotta really quickly highlight our foundation sentence that we always donate to PCRF. Everyone should donate to
Yeah.
PCRF. Um,
Yeah.
I don't know how to highlight something in Google Sheets, but I'm gonna do it like that. I think that Rita's in over her head a little bit. These are Rita's not a media person. She doesn't know what to say to this guy who owns Vice News. Owned by Disney, by the way. Um,
Space Disney.
it's Disney. Um, but I think that she is just sort of like has pulled out her shield, just in case this dweebus does something untoward. Um, Not in a threatening way, just holding it. Um, but yeah, I don't think she's taking dramatic action quite yet.
That is okay.
Unless, well, I'll say that if fault, not fault, reset is unable to do anything there, I do think that's the kind of thing that Rita could help with on account of knowing these people. Um, figuring out stuff about them.
Yes,
Hmm.
at the very least, we've learned that they are something called the frozen suzerainty.
Hmm. So I kind of want to see the end of that before I commit to anything.
Yeah.
Sorry, Percy.
I'm not sure. No, you're good. You're good. I'm not sure I have something in mind for a good way to hone this in this
In this
situation
moment,
right
this
now.
person is distracted. Is that something you might
Hmm.
want to add? I always force others who are distracted to confront the truth of their emotions.
Um. hmm,
Or we could take the L.
Yeah, I'm thinking maybe take the L. Um. Or yeah, I think we'll take the L here and just not hone this.
Sounds good.
And see what happens.
I
I'm
will
pretty sure
reveal
that's a reality one sentence, but yeah.
a reality one sentence for the Horizon's frozen suzerainty always stays vigilant for change. Um,
So I mark this and cross it out for now,
yes.
correct? Because I
Uh,
can't use so the
yeah,
strike
there
through
we go.
goes away in the next scene. Is that correct?
Yes, at the beginning of the next
Mm-hmm.
scene, I'm still considering this the same scene.
Yeah.
I don't think anything has meaningfully changed about this scene.
No. We'd have to go
So,
somewhere else.
Is the
uh,
first moon sentence still countered? The Horizons events always resist change?
yes.
Okay.
But this is the Horizon's frozen suzerainty always stays vigilant for change. So I
Okay.
think what happens is you reach out a hand to begin a conversation, and as you like close the distance to tap them on the shoulder or on the back of the on their back, you can see that your presence begins to very slightly melt away at this layer of ice. And they seem to notice that and snap around, and you realize that you've been a little surrounded. And they don't do anything violent, but they
Right, because they're
do.
still influenced by the like helping us sort of thing, right?
Yes, uh, they do. They surround you. They ask you, "Oh, what are you doing? If you need guidance anywhere, or if you need something to drink, or a place to put your They sort of look at you around the side. Place to put your uh, jacket? I can take that for you.
I
Not
think
really
I
sure if the jacket is part of you or something you wear.
I think it's part of me. I think they're also sort of like uh like stunned for a moment, like thrown off kilter by being essentially like iced out, pun intended, of like trying to get the vibe from these people. Like I think they have gotten a little bit accustomed to being able to like read these things that are like emotionally kept hidden a lot of times because that's just something they can do now, that they've gotten used to. So like being like stonewalled like this is, and then surrounded is definitely overwhelming. um so they're like, yeah, they're just like stun locked here for a second, I think, and are eventually just like, no, no, I'll keep the jacket, rather than explain that it's a part of them.
The ones that have surrounded you in unison all just go, hmm, and then scurry off. Uh,
Mad that I can't remove a part of my body so they can help me. Anyways, okay. Rita.
Rita, did you have a plan to act if Reset wasn't able to accomplish this?
Well, I was gonna leap in with a big shield when everyone is surrounding Reset, and then it was just a bunch of people being kind of catty to them. Um, so
still happen. There's
still
still room for
happen.
that to happen in that scene if you would like. They're not
Um,
being aggressive, but they are definitely being rude. And
no, and they're definitely weird.
oh
Um,
yeah,
so I think that maybe this is Rita. Uh, hmm. Now, see, there's a fun thing in Realis on a mechanical level that I think is very interesting, where I know that they have a +1 sentence, and so I'm trying to find a way to either orient my situation such that I do not trigger that sentence, or use my +1 sentence uh, to try to get the leg up on them. Now, I do not know how I would possibly use I always wear the distinguished shield of my past services in defense of another to try to learn more about these people. Um,
Yeah, you'd also have to hone it
yeah, I could spend a
if
token.
you're doing it. Oh, you have a
Some
token.
of us have
Okay.
tokens still.
now
Um,
Can you question, can you hone and use a token on the same sentence at the same time?
I believe so. Yes.
yeah,
Because you could do that to I always call in a favor, potentially. But that's a lot of
that's
steps.
that seems like so much juice to to ask these people a question.
Or you could trigger your realization on your determination one and then use a token. I don't know.
That's a
Throwing
lot of
things out there if you don't have ideas for your reality one sentence.
that's a lot of juice. No, I think I have an idea. And maybe I'm wrong, and we'll see. Um, I think, and I don't think this is an in-universe decision that Rita's making to try to circumvent a sentence. I don't think that's how this works. Um, but I do think that Rita is sidling up to, as they sort of disperse from Reset, uh, one of the Leo Suzerainty folks that she knew that she can recognize, um, and is trying to go up to them and say, hey, um, are you doing okay? Like, I remember I'm going southern. I don't know that I should yet. I don't not yet.
I remember back when I tried to kill your
Now I
boss.
remember back when we used to be drinking buddy. Now, but just walking up to one of these people and saying, "Hey, fuck it, I guess she's gonna be southern." I can't stop myself. Um, hey,
Feels meant to be.
are you doing okay? I can't help but notice this is mighty different from how you used to be. This is not the what's the name of this person? This is not the Theodore I remember. And I also don't quite remember you being in uh the in the Horizon of Events castle in space last time. Um are you what happened to you?
Uh, their stop motion body like turns to you, and I think they look up at you. I think this person is a little shorter than you are, um, and meets your gaze with eyes that have been glossed and iced over, and they just respond with, "Titeline has given us new purpose and a new role to fulfill.
The Teetling?
She will be amused that you're here, but but you should." And they turn away from you.
Okay. I have now been given motivation. Rita is going to turn to Mr. Vice News and say, "All right, Dorcas, I need you out of my way. I gotta go talk to someone better."
He grits
Um,
his teeth and goes, "If I show you where and how to talk to the other pillars, will you please just leave? I'm sure you'll want to once you see how futile this all is."
I realized in person I was doing this. Rita is like looking to the others, like, should we do that?
We'll leave when we've gotten what we came here for, but we're not simply going to walk without at least attempting to make some kind of deal. I mean, you of all people should know Mr. Venture, right? Scrolling back up. Yes. Venture. Nothing is gained without something being lost.
I think he just groans. Ugh. Listen, you've got your work cut out ahead of you. And I would love to watch you guys fail. So why don't you lot come
Not
with
always
me?
are.
He sort of motions you over. And he begins to make his way, he just walks down one of these many hallways. But to color some context as to where he's going, Thicket, is there any familiar iconography of Clatter that we can recognize?
I think in a
Bones.
similar way, I think in like a similar way to how Thicket dresses, it is a lot of so Clatter is like the god of the long dead. So like things that have been dead for a long time. And I think as a result,
So like
it's
dinosaurs and shit.
well, if you find dinosaur bones, the Church of Clatter's like, we need them. But I think that in general, a lot of the iconography, bones for sure, but bones that like weren't extracted from a thing, like fresh bones, you do not want as objects of worship, but like ancient bones, ossified bones especially, 100%. I think it's that, and then like very rusted metal objects, and they're all hanging like chimes, so that in a similar way to what Clatter wears, they all kind of like tink against each other, like they all just like scrape and clank and like make noises. Um, and I think that's a big part of it. So like as we're walking through, it's like almost like beaded curtains, but if the beads were made of like ancient objects and remains.
So is Clatter also still wearing mainly that kind of iconography, or have you moved? Or sorry, not Clatter. Is Thicket mainly wearing that kind of iconography, or has that changed a lot?
There's some of it. They have a few bones like strung along their arms and such, and they still wear. Clerics of Clatter have like different like eyebrow piercings, basically to denote like their rank within the cult,
Uh-huh.
and yeah, and I think Thicket still has their piercings in, but I think that they wear a lot of objects that are not normally Church of Clatter or Cult of Clatter oriented. So like the cape that they wear, like the little or not the cape that they wear, the cloak that they wear is very like fresh and vibrant. It is a sign of life and not like a sign of like long past decay. Um, and I think that like there's a lot of things that they wear and mannerisms they have that they've adopted since.
Sick.
Yeah.
Cool. I was just asking for flavor mostly, or like if
Yeah.
we recognized this as being very similar to you, and it sounds like not quite anymore.
You definitely recognize like the similarity in the sound of like when Thicket's
Mm.
walking around and how that sounds, and probably what we're hearing as we walk through this space, but in a much louder capacity.
Okay.
Can I try and get
All right, one sec.
something out of Venture Vice as we are on our way there?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so I think it's just something along the lines of, uh, I know that you don't do anything without some intention behind it, and we are here to see if we can come to some kind of deal or compromise that sees Realis moving forward in the future. So, Venture Vice, what do you want? And I would like to invoke my level 0 sentence. I always get wrapped in the dreams of others to try and understand Venture Vice's goals, and then perhaps to either work around them or to see if we can find a different way to work towards them while still accomplishing what we want.
Interesting. Um,
My token
I
is already charged. I don't get anything out of this if this goes badly, but
well, I think you catch Venture off guard a little bit because I don't have a sentence to counter this. I guess Venture we reveal Venture to be a little weak to a genuine interaction, more or less. And he sort of looks at you, surprised that you've even like bothered to come up next to him as he's leading the way, and he scoffs and goes, "Yeah, I, I just, I want things to stay the way they are, just like everybody else here."
is that because
Um,
there's something in particular that you want to maintain, or you're scared of losing?
what does it? I, I'm not. I don't lose anything. I just,
Pointedly
we're
looking at the crossed out, I always represent a tire to intimidate others sentence. Yeah, you never lose, sure.
deep sigh, and he goes, "I'll tell you what I want.
What I
I
really, really want.
want
Oh,
to be rich and famous for the rest of eternity. That's what I want."
Many such
I
cases.
mean, kind of obvious, but
many such cases.
But he says this with a sort of scowl on his face,
hmm.
and I would say through the use of your sentence, you've maybe come to the realization that um, that is what he has been scripted to say.
Mhm. That he is also, like many others, not allowed to change.
Yeah, the same news every cycle,
Hmm.
the same events happening consistently. He gets to relay that information, but I mean, a news outlet that doesn't.
Yeah, I guess the news is pretty boring if you are already know what is gonna happen.
Mm.
And you've heard him give his, he does the like opening ceremony, the effective New Year's for the cycle, when fate and reality sort of resets. Um, he seems to be one of the few people that can retain long-term memory through the cycles. There's a part of him that seems really tired in this moment.
Mhm.
His suit doesn't fit quite as well as it did in the previous scene, and we might catch a certain angle to see a few bags under his eyes.
Well, if that is truly your desire, then why not join hands with us and we'll see what we can do to make it happen. But if you ever change your mind and want something a bit more exciting, a bit more revolutionary or invigorating than repeating the same propaganda, the same pamphlets, the same day after day, let us know. We can try and make that happen too.
He
We're
gives you
open
a
to
look.
discussion.
How did you even? Ugh, it doesn't matter. Yeah, whatever. I'll keep it in mind. And he sort of trails behind. He's still leading, but somehow manages to end up next to you, Thicket, and goes, "I hope you're ready. This guy's a lot."
I think Thicket uh, doesn't look at him, just nods and says, I, more than anyone, may know just how. And then I think just like thinks for a second before finishing the sentence. And can I use a sentence on myself? Is that a thing you can do?
What's your dramatic intent?
I think I want Thicket, who, for all intents and purposes, is very much a religious scholar, knows a lot about many of the gods they studied, but also grew up um, in the cult of Clatter. Um, I think normally would be pretty good about going into an encounter with some aspect of divinity, with an element of assuredness with their personal knowledge, right? With their skill, with their craft. And I think that I would like to use I always doubt, my fourth class sentence, and basically say like Thicket is doubting himself in this moment. He's doubting his own ability because he never would have expected Clatter to be in a place like this. And he never would have expected Clatter to be in a corporeal form. He never like all these many things are really throwing him off his game. Um, and I think his own doubt is getting the better of him. I don't think this needs to be a like external type thing, but Thicket is very much doubting himself right now.
Is this?
I think you can just say that.
I
Yeah.
think also Jenna points out this could be an illuminating failure that you're choosing to do.
Oh, yeah, I think that really works here.
Once per session, you may frame a scene where any of your means automatically fails, allowing you to deliberately mark it. It's then countered until the end of the next scene, unlike a regular failure.
Yeah, I think this is the Thicket won't be able to express that doubt outwardly, because it's so focused internally.
Could this be that it's a different sentence that's being like illuminate failure here? Like you can't make the presence of the divine felt among others for the time being due to this doubt?
I think this is. I think I'm gonna lock the doubt one because
Okay.
I think that they're gonna go into this Clatter interaction being like, well, obviously there's a sincerity here, right? Like to there's something in this interaction that I fundamentally can't doubt because I lack the ability to know that I know better, right? Like how could he assume that anything that Clatter says will be untrue fundamentally, when he can't even like confirm the things that he knows for sure? Because I think I always doubt is great when you're facing a god that's maybe not in the right.
And I
Or
think
maybe not
Venture
even
sees
real.
this in you, and we get a little, scene of him with one of his camera drones covering this quote unquote action, and he just goes, "Oh wow, you are really not prepared for this interaction, are you? This is gonna be
No, I
fun to
wouldn't
watch."
say. Just again, solemn nod, hand on the skull, again, kind of carving a small hole into it.
Uh, he looks back at you, Fault, and just gives you a big grin, big horrible little goblin grin. This is who you're teaming up with? Oh man.
I will ignore Venture for the time being and just pass closer to Thicket and say, "Your faith has led you this far. Don't let anyone else decide it for you."
Deep breath in, deep breath out. And then just again, nods, gives you eye contact.
All right. I think the hall has been slowly, at first the decor was like clashing with the opulence that the palace was trying to project earlier. But as you've gotten closer and closer to Clatter's domain, the decor and the general vibe of the place has shifted. And Venture inevitably just goes, "All right, this is as far as I go. Uh, you guys can make the rest of the journey on your own. I'm sure you'll be able to make it back in time for hors d'oeuvres or whatever. Have fun. Good luck. Don't die." And he gives you a big smile.
Is the vibe we're picking up that he doesn't want to go in here, or that he can't go in here?
The vibe that you're picking up is the same vibe that you would get from someone who is talking about a really annoying neighbor.
Ah.
Okay.
Like, Venture could come with you guys to go talk to Clatter, but he would really rather be doing literally anything else. I think it might even say as much. Uh, and then Thicket, you see the entrance to Clatter's domain.
I will invite Venture to at least move the video drones with us, so that he can at least catch the interesting footage, even if it will never be allowed to be aired.
He chuckles, and you're wearing a sort of your attire, Thicket. Um, you're wearing a cloak, right?
Yeah.
I think one of the camera drones beep, and flies out and sort of reveals that it has hidden itself inside of your cloak, taking shelter.
Okay. I think before we walk through like the entrance way or like deeper in, um, Thicket says, everyone, before we proceed further, there is a ritual that the cult of Clatter performs before entering a tomb. I believe it to be appropriate. And just like hands all of you a small like white shard that you realize very quickly is like deeply desiccated bone, like old bone. And just says, just hold it close, and it will grant you protection.
I'm going to refuse that little shard of bone, uh, and just say, if they mean us harm, I doubt a ritual will protect us, even if it is of them originally. But I will take my chances.
Okay. I
Was that
look
an
at
object
you.
of worship you offered me?
Yeah, very much was. I
Ooh.
I think that normally what you see from clerics who you reject this kind of stuff from is probably a little disdain. I think here, with the amount of like inner turmoil this boy has going on right now, you see like a respect in your self-confidence, in your ability to take care of yourself. And there's like a slight smile that crosses Thicket's face that then immediately returns to stoicism.
Uh, I guess I will also be refusing. I think that is. I think that that is the correct maneuver.
I I think Reset does take this, which means I have to figure out what them taking this looks like. Um, but I do think based on our bond uh and me kind of chasing where you're following with this obsession, there's like a curiosity in taking this and also like again like following your lead on that.
Yeah.
I guess for clarity for the chat, our my bond with Thicket is that I can't ignore the strength of Thicket's obsession over his crisis of faith. I'm scared of getting lost in it too, but I will follow where these anxieties guide us in hopes of answering my own questions. So yeah, Reset does take this bone. I think um I think I think he takes it in their hand, and I think it sits in their hand for a moment, and then this oil slick kind of subsumes it too in a way, and then it appears as if it's like a little badge on their jacket, like because this was like a gift given to them. I think is what this looks like in this particular situation.
That's rad. Sorry, I don't have anything exceptionally cool to say about that other than I really like it.
No, you're good.
Um,
Sorry. The little chuckle was just at the merit badges in chat. Um, but yeah, so that's the situation.
with that, I will also count this as a new scene, so folks can clear any sentences that have been crossed out.
Except
And
for
also,
Thicket,
oh, go ahead.
whose sentence is still countered. Because when
That's
you
right. I
illuminating
always doubt
failure,
it's
it's
still
counted in
countered.
that scene.
Thank you for reminding me. I think this is also a good time to do a quick break if folks are ready.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
How long do we usually break for? I'm not used to any of this.
Depends on the group, like 5 to 10ish minutes usually, but if people have stuff, it can take a bit longer.
May I ask for 10 minutes? Meet back at the top of the hour.
Yeah, let's do a 10 and a
Sounds
free 5.
good.
Yeah.
Awesome. See you in a bit.
Mm-hmm. And we are back. I think. Hello, Twitch chat. Can you hear us? Are we regular?
Yes, we are audible on stream.
Lovely.
We're good? Excellent. So,
You're right. We would never be regular. We're just audible.
We do also have a a donation to read out from before the break.
Yes. Thank you to Matthew Goose for the $25. Meant to donate during Fathom, but I've been trapped in meetings all day. Currently proctoring a quiz. Thanks for all you're doing and have fun. Thank you, Matthew. And thank you, everyone,
Thank
for
you
donating to PCRF. There's a link in the chat right now. You should donate. It's a good cause.
I agree. Moving forward, you guys enter Clatter's Hall. I'll lean on you, Thicket. What is, you described the vibe being like rusted and ancient. And then you described the ritual as before entering a tomb. So I imagine that walking into here, the air is very musty and heavy. It's like a big open area room that at the center of a giant figure is sort of messing with like maybe like a circular pool, um, and something, messing with like something ethereal therein. Uh, what is the what is Flatter's like? Um, what would you say Clatter's like mythical form would look like? Like how is he depicted in stories and mythology?
I'm stealing one of your other ideas from the other players, real quick. Um, I think. Are y'all familiar with the way that like old archaeologists would put together bones incorrectly for dinosaurs
Yes.
and make these like wildly inaccurate dinosaur recreations?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I think Clatter is like basically a collection of fossils of various creatures, and not just dinosaurs. I think we're talking like there's fossilized insects, there's fossilized plants, there's like all these different living creatures, in the oldest forms that they could possibly be in, that have all kind of amalgamated into this strange looking amorphous shape. Um, and I think is covered in, and the thing that connects all these bones and that like covers a lot of these is just like dried mud, like old stone, and I think almost looks like in like an animated pile, like not even like a discernible creature shape, but just kind of a mass with these like writhing bits.
And this writhing mass turns to your group's direction, and uh, these like bright, kind of like pale green cyan eyes light up when they see you. And a like swirl of mist and smoke condenses and coalesces into like a whirlwind around them. And uh, from that whirlwind, we hear a voice. Hey, it's my favorite little cleric! And out pops the condensed version of Clatter, a 4.5 foot tall, small pile of human bones, wearing like a mud t-shirt and stone jeans as he walks out of the swirling mist, open arms.
Jay DeVito.
You actually made it here. I can't believe it. I mean, I've been seeing Vice's broadcast of you folks, wandering around the Realis system, but I didn't think you were actually gonna make it here. Come on, come in, make yourselves at home. I see you already set up the ritual for him, so please, Mikasa Sukasa, and welcomes you in. I think pulls up. There's like the mist reveals like a dining room table and some chairs with, not really food set out, just like bone decorations and maybe a candle that he lights. So, tell me, what's your journey been like? What, I mean, why visit little old me?
I have to be true to I always doubt being crossed out. Uh, I
Yep.
this is the god. I think I do what he says. I sit down and um I take out um a I think it's almost a oh god, what are those called? The shells, the really like god. Like
Ammonite
the
Fossils?
ammonite, thank
or
you. Yes, I take out an ammonite shell, like a fossilized ammonite shell, and I like looking at the ground, just like pass it over in tribute first and foremost. This is the oldest item that that Thicket has in his possession right now.
Clatter just eats it.
Uh,
Oh wow, Thicket, this is really something. And he grabs it and sort of like pops open his like humanoid rib cage and sort of like attaches it to something inside, closes it shut, and goes, "I really appreciate the gift. That's getting added to the collection. Um, so I mean, like I said, make yourselves at home. Tell me, I know you folks have been here trying to like, muck about and all this cycle business. I just been so curious, Cladda. You've been traveling around the system, trying to help folks work with this clasp group. I mean, please. I'm so curious. I'm stuck here in the horizon or whatever. I mean, I gotta know. What's it like out there? Do people appreciate what we're doing in here? I mean, and sort of like looks to you.
I think Thicket is like lost for words at the current moment, um, and looks to Fault.
Ooh.
You already sat down and took a chair, right?
I think whatever chair Cladder would have motioned to. I think that Thicket does not want to lie, but does not have it within himself to tell the truth at the current moment.
Uh,
um
yeah.
I don't know. I'm just thinking about because Thicket is kind of trapped here right now in a way because doubt is crossed out. Um and I am thinking about something with my bond with Thicket to kind of help engage with this in a way that is a little bit more like, hey bro, we're not just here to support you, or like kind of thing to
Mhm.
towards Clatter, but I'm not sure exactly what that looks like narratively maybe to like lean on that, but I think like this is because like um Reset is kind of being has kind of been being dragged along in um his like crisis of faith, and like in this abrupt like now that we're in it and like engaging with it, and then um Thicket has kind of like stalled like in a kind of like we're dragging each other both along sort of way for answers.
Mm. This what if this is a check again? Well, I guess it wouldn't be against me.
Yeah, like I guess what am I trying to achieve is like is this like this 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 form that Clatter is taking with us, is this really what this is? Like not like I don't know that my goal is to like reveal that now, but like to push on just accepting like yeah, this is just a deity and this is just exactly how he is.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have a
Is
means
that
you're
And
pulling on
the
to make that happen?
is do I not pull on bonds in the same way?
You can.
They can pull on bonds.
Yeah, I
bonds you
think
can
my
use as a means, or you can use like against that person, or you can use them just in general, like if you want to affect something else in line
What do you
with
mean
wanting to
against
like
that
something there.
person?
I want to say that if you used a means to narrow intent against somebody else, they could also use a means to try and counter you as though they were kind of like the DM. Same thing of like defender,
Yeah,
breaks ties, etc.
but yes, but I can't like use this bond against the other person in the bond in to like help them, I guess, necessarily.
It's not like a special mechanical thing, but you can use it
Mhm.
as a means. So if you want to
Yeah.
accomplish, if you want to push Thicket to do this thing and used that bond as the means, it would then be up to Thicket to decide to try and block that or to go along with your narrative intent.
Okay.
I believe,
I
having not read the rules.
I have read the
If I am
rules, and that
incorrect,
is how
please.
that works.
Okay.
Okay,
So
thank you.
yeah, maybe this is me using the bond against Thicket in a way that isn't like to negate the fact that they have or that he has doubt crossed out, but to like push him into not uh how do I phrase this in
You're
a way
giving
that isn't
Thicket confidence, right? Like,
yeah, but I don't think that this can be used to essentially override that. I'm like, what direction can I encourage him in that isn't necessarily doubt, but it is like maybe it's like more towards curiosity and wanting to know, because that's why I've been chasing him, is the curiosity about my shit sort of thing. So maybe leaning on that bond to push him towards curiosity that overrides that lack of doubt that he can act
Thick,
on right now.
Thicket
There's an element of it
realizes that
too.
other people here also have questions about Clatter, notably Reset, and that he's in the best place to ask them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, what were you saying?
No, I think that's very apt.
Okay, yeah. So I'm gonna use my zero bond towards you. Um, if you would like to counter, or can the GM also counter? Or is that fully on you if I'm targeting you? How's that work?
Any other actor in the scene can counter sentences.
Gotcha.
But just to clarify, you are sort of using your presence to bolster and give confidence to Thicket in this moment.
Yeah, because I think we'll get the furthest with him interacting with Clatter, because Clatter seems amenable to him, and no, he knows better than we do about Clatter, I think. So yeah, like trying to bolster him to help in this situation essentially.
So with the
I
ghostly
don't
hand on your
counter that.
shoulder, Thicket,
Yeah. I don't
um,
counter that.
and I think in this scene what we get is once folks have sat down at this old rotten dinner table, he
Fault is
doesn't
not
sit down
seen.
quite yet and says, Sorry, I just gotta take care of one thing really quick." And this table was set sort of beside the pool he was mucking about with, and there are a bunch of a little, similarly pale cyan uh, forms that look like tadpoles, and that he sort of like makes a motion to, and they seem to be making this like hourglass or almost like lava lamp esque motion and direction from the base of a pool in the floor that you guys are on up far above to another pool of water that seems to be suspended in the air on the ceiling. And these figures are just moving back and forth between those two pools, seemingly at Clatter's uh, sort of direction. And then Clatter turns back and he goes, all right, that's taken care of. That should hold for a bit. Um, anyway, as you were saying,
Well, um, I think feeling this like spectral hand on my shoulder, I think I recognize that even if I do not have doubt right now, if I can't hold that in myself, that I do have a responsibility as like a community member, as a person who's like part of a wider like group of people in Realis. Um, that I have a responsibility to my community and my friends to talk about the things that need to be talked about and to utilize the things that I'm afforded to that end. And right now, that affordance is that Clatter is speaking to me. Um, well, um, we have been doing our best to impact the world in a way that I believe will benefit Realis as a whole. And I, of course, have spread the many teachings of divinity that can best fit to the needs of community. But all the same, there are many questions that people have had that still sit with me. Um, the foremost of which regards the purpose of stagnation for those who could one day be in a better state.
Platter, like looking at you, nodding, like, "Oh no, yeah, I totally get that." Um, I I think they're missing the bigger picture because, uh, I'll direct your attention to my little workshop here, and he sort of motions at the two interconnected pools. Now this right here, thanks to a bit of assistance from Agnum, I've been able to make sure that souls in Realis stay in Realis. So folks of similar fate, and he's moving his hands up, and these souls appear to be moving up towards the top. They, we don't have to worry about anyone getting forgot about or anyone going missing ever again. And he sort of seems to mention that with the weight of someone who has maybe lost something. And in this motion, you see someone who has you see a divine being who has lost themselves in their purpose.
Mm.
Clatter is the god of the long dead, but he is also the god of the long gone but not forgotten.
Mm-hmm.
And you get the sense that he has maybe misguidedly used this opportunity to make sure that people aren't forgotten about.
Okay.
And he sort of continues to sort of deflect and talk about this, and it's hard to get him back on topic. Uh, and I think finally, when he realizes that, there's a moment where he goes, "Wait, you people out there don't like what we're doing? Do they have any idea what they could be gaining from this? I mean, what are you trying to say?"
I again look around to the assembled peoples. I think it doesn't want to speak for everyone. Knows that he can't speak for everyone.
I was just about to say that I do think Rita like steps forward. I think I don't know what exactly the framing of this is, but I have been imagining the other three just sort of standing behind your chair, uh, like you are our yeah, looming. We are all looming behind you. I bet Rita, big arms crossed. I think Rita steps forward and is like, "This, th- think it's right. This ain't good for anyone but you guys. Anyone but the people already on the top."
And the skeletal face of Clatter sours. Uh, he doesn't have eyebrows, but I imagine he does that thing that cartoon skeletons do, where their like eyes sort of like crease into a frown. And he goes, when I heard you all were coming, I thought that this would be. I thought I was going to get to hear what a great job we were doing. I had hoped that you being here was a sign that. No, no, you lot do not understand what we're doing here, and I think it's time for you to leave. You say that this is good for the folks on top. Look at the rest of Realis. And he stammers for a bit. 72% of Realis is happy forever, and no one is forgotten about. I can't believe you would go against something like that. And he's going to use a sentence against you. When I speak frankly, I always end a conversation with the weight of my responsibility to crush all doubts. As he's saying this, his nice guy form seems to be faltering. More of those creatures and formless masses begin to make their way into his personhood. He begins to grow in size as he is sort of throwing a bit of a tantrum. And I will put that on the sheet. This is platter.
So how big a swing are you guys okay with me taking here?
Are you about to kill my god?
I don't know that will how it will be resolved, but it is a possible outcome.
Many such cases.
Go for it. Listen,
So
if you do, it answers part of my dream, so go for it.
yeah. I'm waiting for the sentence to load in.
Sorry.
Oh, good.
His name's a little
So-
cut off there, but the main of stuff
Yeah.
is there.
So
Would
that
anyone like to
feels
attempt to
like
counter the
a-
sentence?
Yeah, it feels like a reality 3 right there. Just looking at the different clauses and stuff there. So I think I'm going to counter that with my dream to destroy all objects of
Whoa.
worship.
Oh shit.
You can do any of the
Uh,
following. Spend your dream to succeed automatically once and only once in your character's career.
Considering this is large scale, probably wouldn't spend it here. Small scale, this is a one shot. We're not going to see these characters again. We've each got a dream. Let's go for it. Yeah. So I'll respond to that with my dream to automatically succeed, and then would like to immediately follow it up with attempting a means and narrative intent of my own.
What are you doing?
So first of all, what does it look like to counter this sentence? Clatter is sort of throwing his, the weight of being the god of the long dead, and it being his responsibility to ferry souls through the cycle and to make sure that no one gets forgotten about, to sort of end this conversation and force you to leave.
I think me countering it and me responding with a means of my own they look like me doing the same thing. So could I narrate that and then?
Let's see it.
So I think that So Clatter says, "No one is forgotten. You just don't understand." And I think Fault is going to step forward and say, "There are mothers who experienced their children die over and over and over, reliving the same experience, the same loss, until it isn't quite the same loss anymore. Until some part of them, even while on cycle, knows that this feels familiar, feels how it should be in some ways. It becomes droll, dry, vacant. There are people out there who see their children die and feel almost nothing because they've seen it happen 1,000 times before. Nobody is forgotten, but so many of them matter less than they did when it's reliving the same things over and over. Grief is not just a singular experience of remembrance, it is a process and time and movement forward. You are taking that from people. And if that is what being the Herald of the Long Death means, I believe that we are better off without you. And the means that I'm using here is the bond to Thicket. I will prove to Thicket that the gods can and should die, and I would like to spend my token and hone that to push up to Reality 2 temporarily.
What?
Hell yeah. First off, Bladder sentence struck through. Using your a dream to counter a reality 3 sentence, you completely obliterate his argument and sort of reveal that he has lost his, maybe what he once originally was divine for. What is your dramatic intent when using the bond?
Yeah. I don't think that Fault picked up on the on the Clatters saying this as someone who seems to have lost something very dear to them. I don't think Fault got that. I think that was something that Thicket had because they have this relationship with Clatter. But it might evoke some of that in the way that grief is not a singular event; it's a process of moving forward. But yeah, my narrative intent for this is I will get to at the minimum stop Clatter from doing what they are doing, to cause them to doubt and hesitate, and at least put things on pause until we can finish going through the rest of these pillars. To go, is this right or not? Let me hold on for confirmation from the others. If they can no longer believe in themselves, maybe they'll look to other people. And I don't know if this is doubling up or whatever, but if that drive them to relinquish the position entirely or to leave things behind and reconsider or be like, I will actively support what you guys are doing now. And also just to show to Thicket that this god, this being that they had looked up to and followed for so long and believed in, had taken that faith and that purpose to do something terrible that actively went against what they believed that they were supposed to be doing. That if they can make mistakes to this degree of the aspect and domain they are supposed to be most important, most representative of, why trust them at all? To hone the bond, I think I will make it. I'll prove to Thicket that the gods can and should die, if they have forgotten their purpose.
Oh. Clatter has returned to full mythic form, and focuses on his eyes on you, Thicket, and then goes, much to consider.
That could still be countered by Clatter or by anyone else there. It is a Reality 2 sentence, but it is the aggressor, so it could be countered by another Reality 2 sentence, by a dream, etc. I don't want to just say, and that's where it sits, because I believe there's absolutely room to counter Fault's argument and means here.
Yeah. What I will do this. I will reveal another one of Clatter's sentences. He will not be able to use it, and perhaps it'll be obvious as to why. Can I edit this? Yes. And then we'll highlight that, do text wrap. Okay, cool. While in my sanctum, I always control souls that have stagnated in the cycle. And maybe you can feel a bit of this, like, divine authority wash over you. But he cannot use this sentence in this moment, because you have no longer stagnated in the cycle. Somehow, on your journey, through your dreams, you have broken free of whatever control that these folks have over you. And once Clatter sees that, they slump and they go, I might not understand, but perhaps there is room for something else. Makes a loud grumble and then maybe like removes themselves from the conversation back into the mist, like, oh man, I may have gotten a bit of this wrong. But it seems like your words have had some effect.
What is Thicket's response to Fault doing and saying this, both like internal and also what would Fault recognize?
So I think that internally, Fault doesn't disagree with like large parts of what you said. I think that externally you can see that. I think that there is a like calmness that like washes over them, like a relief. Immediately, like their posture like softens and their shoulders drop. But I think they look at Clatter going into the mist, and what they see for a moment isn't a divine being, but it's just a creature that is hurting. And Thicket's main role in community is to provide some kind of spiritual counsel to people. It's to provide some kind of like benefit and reassurance most often. And so I think that I want to realize my sentence. I always know the rituals of the faiths. And I'm going to say I always know the rituals of the faiths that leave someone better than you found them. So things that are intended to heal or like provide some kind of comfort. I'm going to say also that are supposed to leave someone better than you found them. And I think that what Thicket does really quickly is he just says, if you all would like to continue, I will need a quick moment here and then I will follow after. And just takes out some components for a ritual. And I think this is specifically a like morning ritual. Like when you have an important thing with the long dead is to remember them, of course, but it is also to recognize that they are no longer with us and that the life that they lived was important in its finite nature, right? And that there is space for other beautiful things, and that all the beautiful things that filled their life were because of like other people letting go and giving them space and being able to live in this constantly changing world. And that death is one of those changes, right? And that whether you're remembered or forgotten, it is fundamentally about like continuing to exist in a changing world, and to allow that change to impact others and to allow yourself to be impacted by others. And so I think that just for Clatter, whether they are here still or not, I think it just does a small morning ritual because it's clear that they are grieving something. I think it's just going to do this. You guys can continue onward if you like. I think it will join you later.
I think Rita is like, that's very kind of you, Thicket. I do have to get a move on now, though. I do gotta go. I gotta go talk to some other. I gotta go talk to some people.
Oh, yeah, that's totally fine. All the rituals of the pulmonary embolists take about 15 minutes, so it shouldn't take that long.
That's quite a fast ritual. All right, I'll see you on up ahead. Y'all coming with? Looking at the other two.
I will come with and proceed on to our next destination, but I'll just leave some parting words of quote unquote good advice, or whatever Fault has got going on with Thicket, that your faith is bigger than any god. Do not let them hold you back. But kind gestures say more about you than they do the target.
A smile, like ear to ear, but like no teeth. You're very kind, and just proceeds to do the ritual.
Yeah, what I did to Clatter was very kind, very generous, very, very.
It's
No
How
way.
about
A
that?
manner of
Pathetic,
speaking,
really.
perhaps.
Listen. Sometimes people need to let go.
Damn.
Sometimes the kindest thing you can do is being a little bit mean, or a lot bit mean.
And once the three of you leave Thicket to his ritual, Venture is out there to meet all of you. If you remember, he had hidden away a little camera to make sure he quote unquote got the whole story, as was advised. And he's standing outside of the sanctum, complete, and his posture is slack and shell shocked. What did you guys do in there? Complete and utter disbelief washing over his entire body.
Weren't you watching? We can give an interview later if needs be, but I believe we're on a schedule for the moment.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and you guys have really messed up what we got going on in here. And then there's like a vibration from his like suit pocket, and he puts his hand over his chest and goes, "Yeah, there's someone who wants to speak with you." Is the cleric coming with you guys?
In a sec. Yeah, catch up.
Big sigh. All right. Well, I guess it's time you guys met the boss man. And he just puts his hands in the pockets and skulks off. And leads you to Impending's sanctum.
Can we at least
I
say
imagine
that
this
off
is
screen, Rita got to have a really cool face off against Celine, and it went really well.
But yeah, I think there might still be time for that. I maybe so Thicket catches up, and Venture is leading you guys to the top of the stairs, and Venture climbing the stairs just stopped abruptly and goes, here we go with this. As Teedling, Frozen Current, is going to attempt to use a sentence against you guys.
Is it some kind of offensive sentence that maybe someone with a shield would be really good against?
Someone with perhaps a large shield.
Always freeze others into their fate.
Ooh.
And you recognize a a familiar sheet of ice that covered the frozen suzerainty begin to creep up from where you're standing on the steps up your body.
Is that to everyone or?
Yes, this is to the whole group. Titaline's dramatic intent is to keep you from reaching Impending's observatory.
Okay. Huh. Gamers, what level of reality sentence do we think this is?
I think
It
this is only
feels like
0, maybe 1.
yeah, it couldn't be higher than 1.
Yeah, I think
Alright.
1 might be the into their fate bit, but
I think I have a sentence that I think can counter this. Which is I always have the determination to continue. Um you know, how can you freeze me in place if I simply keep walking?
This is you, like, your boots beginning to freeze up, and then you just step out, shattering the ice.
And then probably like, you know, if other people behind me are freezing, I'm like, you know, helping kick off their feet a little bit. Like, all right, guys, come on, we gotta keep moving.
we show up at Impending's office with Rita just carrying the rest of us just in her arms.
You're just
With
holding
those,
our
like,
hands.
cheerleading pyramids going on.
And I think I. Oh, there's not a section on the actions and brief for realizing a sentence, is there? Okay. I think that as a precaution, I'm going to realize my sentence. I always have the determination to continue. To something like I always have the determination to continue when faced with
Once a sentence is primed, it can be realized. This can be done at any time except during the exact moment of comparison between opposing sentences during a conflict.
yeah. And this is
We
before that because you haven't revealed that sentence's reality yet.
Ooh. All right, that's a good point. Sorry. Continue
Yeah,
on.
I was like, you know, it's the same like in the token spending window. Yeah, so I think it's something like I always have the determination to continue when I want to say something like after my friends do something really sick.
When inspired by those around me.
When inspired by those around me. Yeah. That's a great way to put that.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Rita
yeah.
chugging through this ice and being like, I can't let Fulton think and show me up.
Yeah. I got my
I'll
own
always
personal
know when
demons.
That's so funny.
All right, yeah. And so this is, you know, Rita using the shield, hacking them out of the ice, making sure everyone can keep moving. You know, that's my action there.
Right on. Do you want to spend your token?
I don't think so. I think my level 1 sentence is good enough.
All right. Then I will reveal Titaline's reality 1 sentence and strike it through. Again, counters 1 ties, countering a reality 1 sentence with a reality 1 sentence, you succeed. Breaking the ice, shattering. Venture seems like sees you taking action and kind of like steps back and is like, I'm just gonna let them handle this.
Uh-huh.
And then at the top of this marble staircase, you see Tidaline's frozen figure. She once the Knight Naturalis of Ocean, having given up her position to try and make a play to sort of usurp the suzerainty and assist in the cycle, she has taken on this new form, and I think she looks to you and says, I left you alive once, and then looks to the broken sword at your hip. I will not make that mistake again. And makes another attempt to use a sentence against you.
Okay.
Man, it's such a shame that with everything being on cycle, even if you killed us, we'd still come back.
It would just be normal. You'd just do it again. Much to consider.
It's almost like your plan has flaws. Weird.
Hey, nobody's perfect. And she reaches her arm to the side of her, where some of the light from Realis is shining in, and grabs onto that light and freezes it in midair, forming a spear, and just hurls it at you. I always use the frozen light of Realis as a weapon.
Oh shit.
Do we think this is 1 or 2? Because I have a pitch maybe, but
it's
I don't
for
know if it'll
sure
work.
at least 1. I don't know
Yeah.
about
2, yeah. Because my thought here is to hone I always wield a spectral or elemental power to I always wield a spectral or elemental power as a shield or in defense. Also kind of narratively leaning on our bonds, but an inversal of that was my thought. But that would only get that to level 1. So I don't
You
know
could
if
also
that's good
realize
enough.
your I always frighten those who perceive me.
I can't because we're comparing. Right? This is the one moment where I couldn't realize.
So it's the moment of comparison means when. So right now we don't know the reality of that sentence. It's after that sentence's reality has been revealed. That's the moment where you can't realize anymore or spend your tokens, that kind of thing.
So I could realize this one.
Yeah, you could realize it and then say, this is what I'm putting forward as defense.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have a good thought on realizing that one, but the other is my pitch. I just don't know if people think it's level 2 or someone has a better thought. But that's my thought. That is also interesting narratively
You could theoretically
to me.
realize it and then immediately hone it to get up to level 2.
Yeah.
Or we could just have Ritas use the level 1 sentence and then spend the token.
I have a different similar pitch. You could use our bond. So my bond for you is I knew them before they became how do you say it?
Quintessent.
Quintessent. I will fight to protect who they are now. Your bond with me is Rita still sees the old version of me. I won't let that view hold me back. Because you were talking about this as an inverse of that bond. And I believe that when you are using a bond as a means, the other person can spend a token as well.
But I don't think I can hone a bond. So
yeah,
I can you?
Yeah. It's a means.
Yep. Boost the rank of your means for the session.
Yeah.
Honing a sentence. Okay. I see. Okay, so I could hone it, and you could add a token if we're leaning on that. But
Mhm. It could be something like, let me tab back over.
yeah. How do
Uh,
we? How does honing a bond sentence work? Because these are slightly different than the class sentences when it comes to like phrasing.
um, you still add like a limitation because there's like the action part of the bond, right? Which is I won't let that view
Yeah.
hold me back, right? So that's where you
Mhm.
would add like some sort of limitation. It could be something like, and when Rita needs protecting, I won't let that view hold me back. Or, when Rita overextends herself, I won't let that view hold me back. Or, I won't let that view hold me back outside of Rita's gaze. That type of thing.
Yeah. Um. I think maybe because this is leaning on that like you do still see me as that like old, what was it, soldier prince whatever vibes. Maybe this is like won't let me like hold me back from what needs to be done. Like if I like in a I don't let it hold me back from like if I do wind up like being that old self that I don't. Ugh,
Hmm.
I'm wording this weird. Um, but like if what needs to be done is me being that old self, that also won't get held back. I guess is maybe the phrasing I'm thinking because this is a more
I don't know
like
that that's
military.
like
I'm defending kind of thing. I don't know.
a
Um,
limitation.
yeah. I guess that my thought was a limitation in like when it can be used, but that makes sense.
Oh, maybe.
Hmm.
Oh, I see. So you're saying, like, when being your old self would be helpful, you won't let that view hold you back from being your old self? I see. I feel you.
I think so. So then it
Um,
only applies like when I am
maybe,
acting as that old self, or
yeah. I don't know exactly how to phrase that, but how does that idea
or
sound to the rest of the table?
or maybe it's just a more simple won't let it hold me back like in crisis. So like this is only like a fighting sort of thing and not like a
Oh,
at other
sure.
points I am still held back. Maybe that's the simpler way to approach this.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Especially for a hone.
That's probably especially for a hone. I'm overthinking it.
Yeah.
But
I really
yeah.
like making it in crisis. I feel like
Okay.
that's always a really good one to lean on.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And I would
Okay.
consider this a critical moment. I think, I didn't get to, I sort of forgot to reveal Titaline's intent. Um, but yeah, I think she is trying to keep you from reaching the top of the staircase to a permanent end.
To
Mm.
a permanent end.
Her goal is to make the stairs real slippery, so we kind of just like slip and hit our heads on them.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Some Scooby Doo shit happens to us.
Yeah. Okay.
All right.
So
Um,
yeah, I think I am leaning on that
and I
bond
am,
to defend you.
mhm, and I am willing to spend my token. What are you doing?
I
Like
think
physically?
ooh, I have to yeah, I have to reflavor this because my original pitch had been with the like the spectral or elemental power, which is I'm leaning on the bond now instead. Um so I think this is just because we're being or you're being attacked with frozen light and I have described myself as like this weird oil slick ghost thing that can be like tangible at times. Maybe this is just uh reset stepping in front of you as to like
Ooh.
absorb this essentially.
Okay. Um.
Um
All right. That's our defense. Does it
and
work?
maybe maybe
All
the
right.
flavor of your
So
token is like that you have knowledge of this, so
Oh.
maybe you have some
Ooh.
insight onto like how I can do that better kind of thing or something.
is that what the
Maybe
token
Like
looks like?
maybe you're shouting something at me about it. I don't know.
I think
That's
it's
my
actually
pitch.
that like you do this and like assuming it works, Rita is trusting you that it's gonna work and is just gonna push ahead. Like is trusting
Yeah,
that Reset's got my back and I'm gonna just rush through Reset to try to get Titeline.
yeah.
Alright. I'm gonna tab over
So,
to the
honed
next
bond plus token, making it a reality 2 sentence.
Hmm.
Yes.
I will reveal Titaline's reality 2 sentence. I always use the frozen light of
Hey!
Realis
Oh.
Nice.
as a weapon.
So
I'll
as
strike
of
it
Oh,
there
I
was
down.
clearly
bet.
one. Was it the frozen bit or of
Yeah, I
Realis was
bet
the other
frozen
bit?
is an additional one.
Hmm.
Because I bet it was. I always use the light of Realis and then frozen and then as a weapon or something.
I think it's I always use the light of Realis and then weapon is the second limiter, right? You have to
Well,
have the
yeah,
light of
but
Realis and then it has to be a weapon. It can't be like a tool.
and then it also has to be frozen because it's a reality 2 sentence.
No, that's two limitations. That would make it reality too. I don't know that frozen
Well,
is a
it starts at
limitation as
0,
much as
right?
an adjective.
Yeah. Anyways, but it would start at 0, so it needs. Anyways, we're overthinking this. Let's
Yeah.
we need to dissect it.
Yeah, I'm not at liberty to divulge any of that information.
Uh-huh.
But it is countered and it is marked. And I think we get a scene of you Reset stepping forward into this like the spear of frozen light, and then we get a few like flash frames. We get an image of it being the different knights naturalis. In one frame, it's a just a huge boulder flying at you. In another, it is like a you know horizontal tornado or a giant bolt of lightning. Um, and in all of them, you grab it out of the air, and it just melts into oil paint.
Yeah. Sick.
Oh yeah.
And then falls to the like depths and immediately begins like spreading.
Can I as Reset has sort of protected me here. Um can I rush straight for Titeline and um like shield out um and punch them. I don't have a
Hell
sword.
yeah!
Sword's broken. You know what I got? Two guns right here. Flex. I'm flexing in real life. And
Are you using a sentence?
sure. I I have half a mind to use my dream here. I will protect the world of that which rots it from the inside out. I feel like giving up your nightly post to work for the idea of stagnation is the rot from the inside out, at least as far as Rita thinks of it. Um,
Uh, Before we commit to a sense, I do want to ask, what's the dramatic intent here? Is it just to
yeah, I
like
was about to say.
knock her unconscious? Should I remove her, like put her on her side?
I think it's much simpler, which is my dramatic intent is to clear the way, right? It is let
Yeah.
all my allies get through this scene without having to worry about anything from behind, you know? Um, Something like rushing up, getting into this scrape and saying like, all right, you all go on ahead. I'll hold it here. But I don't know if that's dream worthy. Maybe I always wear the distinguished shield of my the distinguished shield of my past servants in service in defense of another, right? And my
Yeah.
intent
in
here
defense of
isn't
another.
taking her out. It's just making sure that my friends can get through without being bothered.
Yeah, I like that. Maybe we even get a scene of you like running up to do like a running punch, and then the fist, halting right before Tidaline's flinching face, and then you just standing over her, being like, flexing, being like,
Yeah.
"Move on, I've got this."
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she would have some sentences to try and counter with that, but she kind of already used those.
She kind of already used
And,
those.
At the top of the game, remember, this universe prizes passivity, except after wisdom gained. We'll see if she gains any wisdom after this encounter. And your sentence goes unchallenged.
All right.
Venture takes note of this. Another, is watching you succeed over and over again, and sort of dismantle maybe some beliefs that he held. But he shrugs, moves past you, and says, "All right, come on. I think we've wasted enough. Of my time here."
We'll circle back around to Tidaline to have a proper discussion later, but probably best not to keep the head honcho waiting.
Yeah, she's like on the ground, probably like propped up against one of the steps, just like heavy breathing, heavy exhausted breathing.
Mm-hmm.
Afraid to make eye contact with you, Rita.
I'm not even. I'm not gonna say anything. I think we all get moving.
Hell yeah. And you make it. There's a set of double doors that are shaped like hands, and Venture goes,
again.
it'll make more sense when you meet him.
If this is the third game I'm in today that has some kind of hand related nonsense.
Hands, 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 hands.
It's a good image, okay? I'm sorry. I work with what I got. Looks at my two hands. And then I think Venture says, "Good luck," or whatever. He kind of leans against a nearby wall and motions you guys in. The double hand doors swing open, and there is, this is like a observatory / library. There's a bunch of strange, archaic mechanisms twittering and moving about. There seems to be one large one that appears to be like absorbing the light of Realis that Agnum is standing next to. And he's turned away from you, looking out at, the Realis itself. And he says, "I knew you would get here eventually. I've seen this happen countless times. The Gryke-haunted mechanic, the worm-obsessed blood witch, the divorced tchotchke sorcerer and snake-bitten outlaw. Here at the end..." And he turns to you.
So am I the snake-bitten outlaw, or would that be you, Rita?
I feel like I might be a tchotchke seller.
Another face of complete and utter disbelief.
Does that make
the figure turns around?
It's close enough, maybe. We're all just deciding who we kin here in this moment, in this middle of this.
Tall guy. He's wearing this sort of like beautiful Technicolor robe that has that effect that I love, where when he moves, it's as if his like clothing is a window to a background color or palette. If anyone knows what I'm talking about,
Yeah.
where like he moves, but his like his like design seems to merely shift over a different background. I don't know the name of this effect, but the best example I can give is it happens a lot in Chowder.
I was literally about to say, I'm like, yeah, it's the chowder effect.
Yeah, they do this all the time in that cartoon, and I love it. It always sort of like freaks my eyes out and makes me go, "Whoa, that looks sick."
Mm-hmm.
And he has that sort of effect. And when he turns to you, it's revealed that his figure, imagine that your skin was sort of tessellated with the outline of a bunch of hands overlapping each other. Also matching the like technicolor of his robes. And he looks at you with an absolutely flabbergasted look and goes, Who, who are you? Clearly not expecting any of you. Expecting someone, but not you.
Where the many such cases.
His
Surely you've
expression
heard
does
of
not
us.
change.
Your,
Still
your,
wildly
your,
confused.
your lackey has been following us and recording our exploits. Is that the word? Exploits?
Yeah.
For quite some time. Did it never cross your desk? Have you gotten so lazy, so casual in this endless world you've created that you decided anything was beyond your interest because you already knew it all?
Venture has been leaning against one of the doors that have stayed open, and Agnum looks to him with a look of like, what the hell, guy? And he has a flat expression and just sort of shrugs and goes, you might want to listen to what they have to say.
What what do they have to say?
He was referring to you guys.
Oh. What do you,
We have a quick huddle to make sure we're all on the same page of who's being referred to with these pronouns.
Venture rolls his eyes. Like, I can't believe it.
But you love us anyway.
I think in this moment,
Yeah, and
Rita...
Agnum is currently on the back foot. Giving you guys an opportunity to, like, do something or make a case here.
This
The
is Rita
fact
looking
that-
to Thicket and Fault.
Can I give a brief intro to whatever pitch you want to make?
I don't have a pitch. I'm saying Rita is waiting for you to give the pitch.
All eyes look to Fault in this moment.
Oh, great, thanks. My dream's gone, guys. I'm kind of.
I don't know.
Um,
Oh no, you're the icon.
That's so true. Am I garnering affection right now? Is it happening?
I think so.
The fact that we are here at all means that your plan is already flawed. Why not talk with us and find a better future moving forward, instead of trying to stay in something that is already clearly broken?
Are you using a sentence?
I think it makes sense. I think I'll get countered, but yeah. I've had this in mind for a little bit. I think I'm going to realize the I always garner affection to be specifically I always garner affection from my enemies.
Ooh.
Oh. Hell yeah.
Because that's what I've been doing this entire time, is like speaking to people who I'm technically at odds with and going, let's find a different way. let's work something out. Uh, so I think I will realize that to be a level 1 sentence. And I don't have a token, so I'm just going to use that. But yeah, I'm trying to say, like, we are here to bargain. We have proved to you that whatever plan you thought you had in place is not working correctly. Let's try something new.
Hmm.
Yeah, I guess my narrative, my dramatic intent here is for him to begin dialogue with us to decide what each side wants and what compromise we can reach.
Oh,
Doesn't have to agree with us,
interesting.
just enter into sincere dialogue.
Um, in that case, I don't have a sentence that can counter that.
Many such cases.
Um, so catching Agnum on the back foot, this works. Um, and I think he just goes further convers. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. There has been a misunderstanding or something. I apologize for not greeting you personally. No, there will be. Well, I suppose. I and then looking to Venture again for something. Venture's left. Venture's gone, leaving Agnel
Abandoned
completely
by the
alone in this
side
moment.
piece, a tragic fate.
And
He's our side piece
his
now, Agnel.
entire figure just sort of like slumps and goes, I. All right. Um, I should probably take care of this. Okay. And then claps his hands together, and you can feel the palace begin to like a rumble.
Just the normal two
And
hands clapping, or are there any other weird ones?
no, yeah, he hasn't done anything weird with his hands. He just looks a little strange. Uh,
Uh, what does take care of this mean? I think that's in character.
and when he steps out of his observatory, it's revealed that there is a like huge auditorium that the horizon of events has shifted into. Um, and he goes, "All right, let's make this quick. I I apparently I have uh, previous obligations that we'll get to here eventually. Um, but in this moment, yes, sure, conversation. Let's go." And he sort of like um, mundanely is just like walking down the steps of a giant like marble amphitheater. And um, yeah, the way I see this going, I kind of want to zoom out here. We're getting sort of close to the end of our time, but uh, I think this is the band's chance to make their case and shake things up. Um, what do you have an idea of what this conversation will look like?
I mean, I think it's a conversation we should all approach together, working together,
To discover
and
something, maybe?
maybe. Uh, but I do think it's something where like we've come here like as a group of people, right? And I think it's important to recognize like the breadth of that group. And so I think we shouldn't be like, let's nominate a representative. I think it's like, no,
Yeah.
let's I think we all have something important to say here.
Uh, I've been saying and doing a fair amount. So I think the one thing I will do for this and let you guys kind of go and make your own cases is that Fault will try and emphasize that, like, as you're saying, we are here as a group, and we are here because we are the ones who've been lucky enough to have the time, the connections, the opportunities to arrive here in front of you and present this case. We each have our own stories, our own reasons for being here, our reasons for wanting something better than how things currently stand. But regardless of how this goes, besides the dust-covered outlaw, the tchotchke seller, the witch, and the other one, besides us four who are here today, I would like you to know, Mr. Agnum, whatever the last name was. Hold on. Scrolling.
Impending. I should probably put his
Impending,
name up
thank
here
you.
somewhere.
Mr. Agnum Pending, that besides us who are here today, those who care about this world want to see it better and improved and are fighting to create a better world for those and those around them, there are many such cases.
Oh,
Ah,
I love a
That's
title
quite
drop.
good.
Been holding on to that one for the past 6 hours.
really quickly
6
make
hours.
this like
Beautiful.
a bigger font. There we go.
Yeah, that is Fault's contribution to this to this dialogue.
Many such cases.
I think that's a swell contribution, personally.
So what is this? Sorry, I couldn't make the comma small again. What is the Who wants to make the first pitch? I can start because I do think Rita's is like the weakest one.
Okay.
That way we can we can build up. I think that Rita. So okay. So we're in like a theater, right? Are we on the stage and is it Magnus or Magnum?
Magnum.
And right.
UM.
Magnum and Magnum is in the audience. Is Magnum on the stage and we're in the audience? Are we both on the stage? What's the blocking?
I would say blocking is that Magnum is on stage and he is given space for you to speak.
Also
Something
on the
like
stage.
mock trial kind of situation.
Yeah, I imagine that this amphitheater is filled with frozen suzerainty, but also the other pillars you've been speaking to. Venture is here. The slumped figure of Titeline, you know, in one of the top rows of this like makeshift auditorium. Clatter is here with a, you know, what is, I think it's just popcorn in his like casual form.
Maybe ice cream.
He's
for
got
the
some
new
like
depression
popcorn
they
he's
have?
munching on. What?
Maybe ice cream for the depression they have now.
Just like
Maybe they
he's
had it
got
before.
he's got the full ice cream container that he's just got like a big spoon with.
All right. I think Rita's pitch is she takes the stage and says, and then she says, she opens her mouth and blinks her eyes and she says, I think, hello everybody. My name is Rita Tadita. I used to be a knight. Actually, I don't know how many of you recognize me. I used to work under Titeline herself. I was a knight of the Leo Suzerainty. And I think that we should let things progress. I'm not really good with my words. I'm in front of a crowd. I must be honest with you. But I've seen the pain wrought over and over again, and I have, in fact, I'm a big knight with a big shield. I've protected many people from the same things over and over again. And it's not worth it. you know, that's anyway, that's my argument. Thank you all for attending.
Polite applause.
should I should I use a means?
And it seems our fair knight is tired of protecting and tired of saving, which is why I have fought to cycle the system so that there are many others like you out there who will never have to fight again.
Well, yeah, but like, there's definitely still lots of fighting, right? We can't get to a better situation because nothing's changing. It's a big cycle, all resets. Can't actually get to a better world, can we? Hands on hip.
I think Agnum lets your reply hang and waits for someone else to speak.
Damn, okay. I'll fuck myself.
I think Thicket will jump in. And just we have heard a lot of arguments today about how the conservation of the status quo of the current state of things is best for most people. However, one may argue, looking out at the world, that even if people are in a moment of bliss, that is not the truth of life. That in fact, chasing after a everlasting bliss ignores the reality that is most of life is not bliss all the time. It is work and struggle and hardship and grief. And his eyes dart over to Clatter upon saying that last bit. And there is certainly a lot of joy within it. But by trapping some people in these moments that they will never be able to escape of hardship, of pain and loss, and subjecting others to a particular kind of joy subtracts all the nuance in life. If all that mattered was everyone being as happy as possible all the time and never working towards anything better, towards more happiness for more people, then all we would be conserving is stagnation. That happiness would never have a chance to be greater. It would never have a chance to reach more people. And many people would not even realize the value that comes from that because they would be experiencing nothing else.
I think Agnum's response to this is to say, well, I understand your point about folks, not reaching potential and whatnot, but I will assure you that I have done the simulations and the calculations. And he begins to reach into the light of Realis and basically weave it into a bunch of stat sheets and simulations to uphold his argument that
My guy, that sourcing is not going to stand up to peer review if you pull it out of light like that.
Well, yeah, but he's about as close to a king as you can get in Realis. And
actually, what we know is Agnum impudence? Nope. Impending. Is Agnum impending
really
a radiance?
He is.
Okay.
The only one that a very one of the more, I guess, a well-known radiance. He sort of when this initially came to be, he sort of advertised that this was all thanks to his ability to, bend Realis to his will.
Mm-hmm.
And he's
Gotcha,
sort of
just
doing
confirming.
this to make stat sheets and simulations to like uphold his argument that not only is the majority of the system at peace and happy, but it will never get any better than this point. And is using like extremely pessimistic simulations to show what might happen if stagnation were to let up and possibility resumes its flow.
Can I use a class sentence really quickly?
Yeah. Sorry. And all that is to say is that he's using a sentence,
Okay.
giving folks a chance to counter. He's using the sentence, I always shape the light of Realis into the tools I need to ensure the cycle.
Ooh.
That's got to be 3.
Feels like 3, yeah.
So I think I could get it to a 2.
Sorry, hold on. Is this sentence all of these? Oh wow. Okay, that's a big sentence.
Oh yeah, I also revealed that because Agnum tried to use that when you first met him, and he couldn't.
Yeah.
Because those he doesn't meet those specifications anymore.
Also, I think you misspelled his name.
Oh, is it Magnum or Agnum? Because here it's Agnum.
Agnum. There is no M.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I
Oh.
think I just misheard.
We all thought it was
at
Magnum
the
the whole
beginning.
time, I think.
God.
Yeah.
No, sorry, I knew it would get cleared up eventually. So I was just willing to move on, and it was funny. So
I always shape the light of Realis into the tools I need to ensure the cycle. So yeah, so that's, I think the 0
Yes.
is I always shape the light of Realis. And then into the tools I need is 1 level, and then to ensure the cycle could be another level. So that actually feels like it could be a 2 to me.
I could also see it being, though, I always shape the light of Realis into the tools I need to ensure the cycle, making it a +3.
Yeah.
I think it's a 2, personally.
I think we could lean on, if we have
Hone and
bonds
token.
that fit, I feel like, yeah, either hone and token or using a bond and honing and tokening that if no one has 2 on their own. You could hit 3. Wait, no, that hits 2, never mind.
The only person who has the only person who has a token left is Thicket.
Am I the only one?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So then I think using a bond for a class sentence doesn't actually change much here. Logistically.
If I follow the moon's impulse to decide someone's fate and shoot someone in the audience, would that count against my token? If I pull out a Glock,
I would call that a tragic success, leading the bond deeper into trouble, which would recharge your token.
Wow. I think that's a bad idea.
checking.
Can I just say rhetorically, I think that one's a bad move.
Has anyone done something already that is their spheres words thing?
Spear's impulse?
Because we could have, yeah, thank you. Because if we've leaned into impulses already, that might have reset someone's. I know mine is ritualistic means, so I don't think I got anything for that one, but
mine is respond to a private problem through public means, and this is a very public setting, but I think this is also a public problem because we are trying to decide the fate of Realis here, so I don't think it qualifies.
yeah.
I'm gonna go up to bat.
Mine isn't.
Oh,
yeah. Mine isn't particularly relevant because I still have a token. So.
Yeah.
Because you can't have 2 tokens.
I'm gonna go up to bat for reset. I feel like being a ghost shield to an ice spear is responding to an urgent problem with ritualistic means. Ghost rituals.
Specifically in the character playbooks, it says that the ritualistic means that you are something that is an immediate problem, like a crisis right now. You take the time to prepare and do a longer thing for it. That's what the ritualistic part refers to.
Shit.
Yeah, damn.
Yeah.
Them
So that
damn
one's pretty hard
writers.
to reset in theme. Gotcha. Good to know for future games.
If anyone has a bond with Thicket they could use, then Thicket could spend their token, or just Thicket could just spend his token with one of his own things. But I think it's gonna be tricky to get up to a +3 unless we use a dream.
I
Right,
do
we have
still have
dreams
my
left.
dream.
We have dreams left.
So many dreams left.
Everyone's dream except for mine.
I'm gonna put my chips on the table. I think this is a +2 sentence because Tahitaline's sentence was only +2, and it also had the frozen light of Realis. Well, it was frozen, it's, light of Realis, right?
Yeah.
So I think that this is a +2 sentence. It's the light of Realis into tools to ensure the cycle, right?
I will say I could get one of mine up to a 2 using a token and a hone, because I haven't honed yet. I could also use my dream, which I do feel like is fairly relevant here, because basically this guy's being like, hey, this is as good as it gets. This is the best it could ever be. And in fact, if we don't do this, it'll get worse. I think that the response to this could be like, actually, the truth is no. And that does seem like a thing that would give people comfort, is like, hey, if we try something new, it won't destroy everything. I think is kind of a comforting notion.
Yeah.
Yeah. You should go for it. Let's as the good saying goes, get off the boat.
Let's just rip it. So I think that Thicket looks at these like charts, right? These projections, which the shape of them, I don't know if that's super important, right? I think grabs at the light, realizes that Thicket, for all the whispers they hear from countless demons, is not a mystical creature, right? Is just a person, and looks at Agnum and says, "You hold a great fear in your heart. You worry constantly for others, and that in itself is not an ignoble pursuit. But to do so to the detriment of others, to the detriment of the world, to the detriment of your community, at the end of the day, the only constant is change. To say that you know the course of the future based on events that have passed, and say that you know better than those around you, that no one else could possibly be more correct, denies the fact that new things occur every day, and that new ways of life, new ways of living are constantly occurring. And at the end of the day, nothing stays the same. Nothing persists forever. And even this stagnation would one day fall. Even this stagnation would one day stop. And all that we seek to do is ensure that we head on a better path. not even a better path, that we head on a path that we all get to dictate rather than just one or just a small group do. And then like looks up at the light of Realis and just soaks it in. At the end of the day, the true divinity is what we all come together to do, what we all come together to worship and support. And that may be a god, but that god is simply ideals and bonds that we make to each other and promises that we make to each other. And whether that's in service or not is up for us to decide. Not for you, not for anyone.
Clap, clap, clap,
I
clap,
will
clap, clap,
reveal
clap.
a Reality 2 sentence countered.
There we go. I'm so glad I used my dream. That felt good.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Magnum is completely thrown off by this. You know, I think when you walk into his projections, it sort of like disrupts them, and he sort of like loses control of his ability to like shape like what possibilities happen. And hearing your argument, he gets flustered. You know, the color in his face begins to get brighter. And I think he says something to the effect of you know, of course I fear. No, I'm in control. Nothing no longer has to end. That is exactly what I represent. People that are happy stay happy. People that are remembered stay remembered. The majority of this system is experiencing untold levels of peace and prosperity. You can't simply waltz in here and just suggest that things deserve to get changed. And he's using his last sentence. You know, you talked about soaking in the light of Realis. A glass dome at the top of this auditorium opens up, and a flood of light from Realis is let in, almost blindingly so. And he begins to make this grandiose speech that is being heard across the system about fundamentally that the needs of the many and the good of the many supersede the needs of the few. That the people who, you know, are suffering so that the rest of them get to live a better life, you know, he's thankful of that, and they deserve to get to have that honor. I'll be using the sentence: when I am bathed in the light of Realis, the majority will listen to what I say about maintaining the status quo. I have that typed up in a sec, but that's the sentence being used. Does anyone have a counter to it?
In a beautiful world, we could all band together and use the band sentence. Unfortunately, I think that sentence is super duper duper reality 3, and we do not have the ability to use enough tokens to actually get the band sentence to beat that.
Yeah, I've got a token, and that's it.
Yup.
A token and a token, no longer a dream.
Yep.
Some people
I mean,
still
you
have
still
their
have it,
dreams.
it's just crossed.
Yeah.
I have a narrative like I have like a rhetorical counter, but not a means counter.
Yeah. Um,
What are dreams that are left?
yours and mine.
I don't think mine quite works here.
Yeah, it's tough.
What's yours at again?
Mine is extremely relevant, I think.
Oh yeah.
I will protect the world of that which rots it from the inside out.
You consider this rot?
Yeah.
I consider this rot, and I do believe it is coming from the inside to the out.
Hmm.
That's just me personally, you know.
Yeah.
I'm just, you know, I'm anti stagnation on a personal level, but like I respect it. That's not true. I don't respect stagnation. Yeah, if you don't have any ideas for what reset would do here, Percy, I can take a stab.
I do not.
guess.
If you would like, go ahead.
Sure. I gotta formulate.
Is it
okay.
possible? Is it possible to, before countering this sentence, use a different sentence to try and get something else or shift the situation and then counter this one? I'd assume not. I think it's happening right now. We have to counter it.
Not really. I mean, part of the sort of not mechanic of the game per se, but like one of the arguments that the game makes is that the actor gets to make that kind of choice, but is vulnerable to being counteracted upon in that way, right? So because Agnum made that maneuver first, we have to respond in kind.
I was wondering if it would
That
be
is an
possible
excellent way to think about it.
to use the banned sentence to like gain some
Reveal a
information, like
truth.
add more context, yeah, and then use like the dream to like count it or something. But it makes sense we
Yeah.
have to respond to the currently active sentence being used.
Okay.
I mean, what happens here if we don't succeed on this particular roll?
That's a great question.
Yes,
What's
the
his
dramatic
intent? Mm-hmm.
The dramatic intent is to get all of Realis on his side. And
That
to
one's-
make your
Mm.
case seem foolish and impotent.
I think that one's bad, guys.
Yeah.
That's a pretty rough
Yeah.
one.
That's yeah.
People on the Warhammer 40k moon going, I don't know, he's got a point.
I don't know.
They get to play Warhammer 40k forever.
I have a dream. I would protect the world of that which rots it from the inside out. I mean, could you give me like a quick nutshell of what his argument, what his thesis was?
His thesis is fundamentally that through magic and technology, he speculated that this is the happiest and the the highest point of a golden era that the Realis system will ever achieve. And he's placed Realis in stasis, the fate and ever-changing nature of Realis in stasis to keep that golden era preserved for eternity.
Got it. Okay. Yeah,
So
I know exactly
what
what
did
this is.
Yeah.
But sorry, what were you about to say, Jack?
No, you go.
Okay. I think that Rita hears that and looks to her friends and is like, I mean, you got those calculations wrong, buddy. If you think that the maximum number of people are already happy, you've clearly never helped anyone. You've never broken bread with someone in a bad spot. You've never helped people on a quest that seems impossible. You've never done anything that matters to anyone. Because if you did, I feel like it would be very easy for you to realize that there cannot possibly be only 72% of people that are happy. That any difference it's easy to make a difference. But you gotta do it. This ain't doing it. This ain't doing nothing. You're just sitting here. You're sitting here talking to a bunch of people who already believe in you. Except for us, obviously. Come on. I mean, look at these three, right? I feel like we've gone on this whole adventure, and I feel like, it's been hard, but I'm for sure happier. And I'm not part of your 72%. Did that on my own, with the help of my friends.
Actum huffs and begins to form some sort of argument or response, but there's like a wide sweeping shot of like him set across the background of the audience, and as he realizes that um, what used to be a room of people that already believed what he believed is full of a bunch of people who realize that they've been sitting around and doing nothing, and we're about to continue doing nothing for all of eternity. And I will reveal a level 3 sentence and counter it.
Yippee!
Can I get yippies from the chat?
I think Agnum continues to like try and make a case, pleading, looking to his other pillars, looking to the frozen suzerainty, and pleading for anyone to listen to his, what even now he realizes in hindsight is a silly number, 72% of the Realis system, and it falls on deaf ears. People get up and they leave. And soon, it is just the band and Agnum standing in an empty auditorium lit by Realis. And he looks to you all and says, well, what the hell do we do now?
I think I understand.
As the machine
something.
up in his observatory grinds to a slow, whining, impotent halt. Sorry to interrupt.
Yeah, sorry, I probably stepped on your toes a bit there. I think I understand something. You saw something, whether in Realis or in your own calculations afterwards, that caused you to lose all hope. You lost the belief that things could get better or be improved by relying on other people or hoping in a future or that something would change for the better. You lost that and decided to put it on everybody else as well. That if they couldn't see, if they were foolish enough to believe in a better future, you would save them from themselves and consign them to their happiness, their prison of 72% satisfaction. I can't give you that hope back. I can't erase what you have seen or what you believe. But if you've lost that hope, at least try and believe in ours and that of the people around this universe that still yearn for a better tomorrow. That even if you can't, we can. And I will, looking to the others in the group, I will extend a hand towards Agnum.
Thumbs up from Rita.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Reset nods.
They get that as well.
Yeah. Slow, hesitant, suspicious reach. Technicolor hand slowly and then clasping yours. And then in my mind, credits.
Yay!
As you guys get to decide what Realis looks like from here. Does anybody have any closing thoughts on what a Realis broken from stagnation looks like?
I think it's very important that it's like communally built and not just like we're 4 people in a tower and we get to decide what everything in the world, like the whole point of this is that we thought that wasn't a good idea, that like, hey, if everything stays if 4 people are in charge of everything, we kind of have the same again. So I think like allowing some level of communal self-determination.
Mm-hmm. I mean, this is like literally what Rita was talking about, that people gotta help each other, right? And it's, you know, being in the being in your community. I think that's part of the, it's people being in their community.
And maybe we do some stuff to like make that easier for people, you know, to like make it a little more achievable to help people out. And like, instead of making it better, we just try to make it like simpler for people where we can,
Yeah.
to like do the
Oh,
right
yeah.
things.
Something that I also want to emphasize is like after the stagnation ends and we're no longer on cycle, I think it gets worse first. I think that people had grown used to the repetition somewhat, and people who were then relying on it or had grown inured to it suddenly have to confront that there is a tomorrow, that there is a something after today, and that is scary. And like I do think that their negative responses, and in some areas where things were at that part 70%, it goes downhill for a bit. And then we're there, or the clasp is there, or other people come together to be like, okay, it's going bad right now. How do we stop that, or how do we make it better? But it that to some small extent, Agnem had a point that like this might be the peak, and and there is like a decline, and it requires us and others and work to ensure that it goes upwards.
That, I think, concludes Realis. That went better than I could have ever imagined in my wildest dreams. Thank you all for being with me to tell that story.
It's very, very cool. Thank you for putting all the pieces in our path that we then got to kind of walk over with our dreams.
Yeah.
I mean,
Thank you for
that
facilitating.
is the nice thing about Realis one-shots. You can drive your characters like stolen cars.
Yay, I love stolen cars.
Best kind of car.
You can crash it, no one cares.
And there's already gas in it.
For free. Yeah.
You just gotta
Also,
crash it
thank
before
you.
you need more gas.
That's the trick. Thank you to the audience. Also, please donate to PCRF. We have reached, I was just looking at this, $1,090.67. I'd like to negative shout out whoever did that.
That is
But-
specifically McMenno.
Oh my god.
And thank you to Chloe for the $20 since we last shouted people out. Thank you very much.
Yes. And we are gonna hand over to Beam Saber in a sec, so stick around for that.
Max,
Oh,
Max,
yes.
Max.
I'm jelly.
Max. All right. Bye.
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 Bye, everyone. Bye.